campus is unlikely to be successful. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with details. Heather?
Maria, the independent report from Social Impact Insights looked at 5 other homeless campuses across the country and found that those similar to Utah's plan haven't gotten the results they're looking for. The study's co-author, Kimberly Burnett, talked about what they found when they looked at a similar campus in San Antonio.
Haven for Hope, which was founded with a behavioral modification and a treatment first approach similar to the one being proposed for Salt Lake City, reports that the approach was ineffective, and since then it has pivoted to a housing focused approach.
Burnett says they also believe the cost would be substantially higher than advertised. Their estimates show it would cost $165 million, which is more than double public estimates, with an annual operating cost of $53 million. They confirm that plans for Utah's homeless campus have been put on pause because federal and state funding hasn't materialized. However, the idea is still on the table. Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
There will be new opportunities for future homeowners at the Point of the Mountain coming up. That's according to Draper officials. Here's Michelle Rowe with more.
Draper Mayor Troy Walker told KSL that early in the planning, the 600 acres of new development where the old prison used to be was not going to be available for homeowners. However, as the demand for housing exploded, the plans changed. Mayor Walker says the Land Authority, which owns the land, decided to sell 50 acres to housing developers to ease the housing crisis. That's on top of plans for a 350-unit apartment complex, a 5,000-seat concert venue, a state-owned building Convergence Hall, housing tech innovation, and some retail. That's all part of Phase 1. There will also be a trail connecting the Jordan River Trail to the Porter Rockwell Trail.
A Draper man is suing the city, claiming it failed to follow its own rezoning laws. The city approved a new development near 138 South and 3rd East, which includes a new Smith's and 6 drive-through restaurants. David York argues it would actually end up negatively impacting property value in nearby neighborhoods, cause traffic jams, and decrease the overall quality of life. The city says it cannot comment until the lawsuit is over. Single people are more likely to get cancer, and not because they are regularly using the microwave. A new study published in the medical journal Cancer Research Communications says men who have never been married are 68% more likely to get cancer. That's even higher among women who have never been married at 83%. The study suggests married people are more likely to be financially stable, have support systems, and take better care of their health. KSL's top national stories. House Republicans have voted to pass legislation funding the Department of Homeland Security. It does not include funding for federal immigration enforcement or border control, but Republicans did adopt a budget resolution to eventually provide $70 billion for ICE. More from ABC's Jay O'Brien, who says lawmakers approved it via voice vote.
The House, which has been sitting on this bill that the Senate passed some time ago that funds every single agency inside the Department of Homeland Security, including the TSA, just not immigration enforcement operations. It's been sitting on that legislation because there was a concern among some hardline Republicans that there needed to be some other legislative vehicle to fund ICE and immigration enforcement. And so we've really been waiting days, if not weeks, to see what Speaker Johnson would do here.
House Speaker Mike Johnson spoke just after the vote.
And Democrats got absolutely nothing for their political charade and shenanigans out of that. We repeatedly offered in good faith, I want to point out, remind everybody, to negotiate on funding these agencies. But ultimately, the sad and actually shocking truth is there's not a Democrat in the House or the Senate that believes border security and immigration enforcement should exist at all. By word and deed, Democrats have made clear their desire to defund both of those critical functions of our government.
If President Trump signs the bill, it will end the 75-day partial shutdown. The U.S. House voted to pass a key government surveillance tool, but Utah's representatives split their votes.
The House voted to pass the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA for short. It allows federal intelligence agencies to monitor what targets outside of the U.S. say without a warrant. Utah Congress members Blake Moore, Burgess Owens, and Celeste Malloy all voted in favor of extending FISA for another 3 years, but Congressman Mike Kennedy voted against it. The Deseret News reports FISA allows us to track potential threats from terrorists and spies, and proponents say allowing it to go dark could deal deal a major blow to our national intelligence. However, some want to make big changes to the program before extending it, and that might need to happen for it to move forward because Senate Republicans at this point are calling the bill dead on arrival. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Time now for First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Nice and quiet on the freeways. No accidents, no delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-979-3535. That's 800-979-3535. 800-979-3535.
Can we talk about something difficult to discuss? Are you going through a difficult financial time? You have equity in your home, but nobody can help? American Home Loans has created the Bridge Loan Program to use your equity regardless of your credit at this time. The bridge loan can be used to pay debts, collections, IRS liens, divorce settlements, or home improvements. Call at 801-262-2221. That's 262-2221. This loan creates a bridge between now and a much brighter future. After COVID, one of their clients had over $85,000 in credit cards. Their scores were too low to borrow on their home. American Home Loans was able to save them $2,000 a month. And after 8 months, they qualified for a conventional loan and lowered their payments. The consultation is free and confidential. Please call them and see what they can do for you. The number is 801-262-2221. It's 262-2221, or go to AmericanHomeLoans.com. AmericanHomeLoans.com. NMLS 245422, Equal Housing Lender.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. A new study is taking a look at the possibility of a homeless campus in the state and what it would be like if the plan gains traction again. KSL News Time, 12:07. Today, the Utah Nonprofits Association is hosting a 24-hour statewide day of giving. It features more than 300 community-based organizations, businesses, and philanthropic leaders connecting donors to real causes. CEO Jill Bennett says their mission is to support the organizations and what they do in 3 categories.
The first is we provide technical assistance, which means training, resources, anything someone needs, we will try and find the answer for them. And then we offer benefits. We have a group healthcare plan, we have a group 401k, and we have a slew of other benefits that people can use to save time or money. And then finally, we speak on behalf of nonprofits at the state and federal level to protect the rights and privileges of nonprofits.
Throughout the day, organizations will rally support on utahgives.org, raise money, and share stories of how these organizations impacted real lives. Utah digital creators are coming together to build a space they say could rival studios in places like LA and in Lehi. In KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has the story.
At the center of it, Utah creator Murphy Yang, a videographer who says he was constantly traveling out of state just to find the kind of studio setups creatives need, until one idea stuck.
I'm usually in LA or Atlanta or New York, and I'm usually filming at studios, and I'm like, why don't we have that here?
Now he's building what he calls the creator space in Lehi, with fully built out sets, podcast rooms, even modular spaces that can transform for different brands. He's been documenting the process online with other creatives chiming in along the way. And the goal, create a space where Utah talent doesn't have to leave the state to compete at a higher level. Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City's Japantown history will be highlighted in a new mural. It will go up on the side of the 15-story multi-ethnic senior high-rise at 120 South and 2nd West. Artist Cole Eisenhower will be the artist to do the honors. The preliminary design features elements of the historic neighborhood, including a Japanese art form repairing broken pottery with gold. It will be painted this summer. Mural Fest in South Salt Lake also begins today. The blank walls of the Central Park Community Center will be turned into a vibrant mural celebrating kindness and community. It's part of a collaboration between One Kind Act a Day, Promise South Salt Lake's after-school program, and local artist Shandon Powell. It's just one of 11 murals to be painted in South Salt Lake. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Ricky?
A beautiful day for a drive, and right now we're seeing a nice and quiet commute for your noontime drive on all the Valley freeways. Now, I do have some slowing, and this is going to be northbound on Mountain View Corridor in the going from Harriman towards Daybreak, especially around 118th South. You'll see some backup there. And again, anywhere where there is construction, you'll also see a reduced speed limit through that work zone. Super Trees packs Utah's coolest plants, pottery, gifts, and classes into one must-see stop. Fresh truckloads of trees arrive weekly. Receive 10% off this month at the Riverton store or supertrees.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, beautiful spring weather on tap today. Partly cloudy skies with a high of 64, only a degree or two from the normal mark. 41 overnight. We'll bounce back to 67 tomorrow, mostly sunny. Partly cloudy on Saturday, 74. By Sunday, we're to 78. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Right now, a lot of sunshine and 57 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And still to come on Midday, we'll hear from Governor Spencer Cox and how Utah is doing water-wise. That's coming up, streaming live at kslnewsradio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. This portion of Midday is sponsored by Ovation Homes. With me, Amber Weikstra. Thank you so much for being with me this afternoon, Amber.
Yeah, thanks, Maria, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
You know, the great thing about Ovation Homes is we're not just talking about a building. We are actually talking about a complete lifestyle. People thinking about their lifestyle and pretty right-sizing their life.
Absolutely. That is one of the funnest parts of my job, is to see people that are looking to make a change that they know is going to bring them so much more freedom and kind of that life, just a lot of excitement going into that next chapter of life.
And this kind of goes all the way through, not just inside the home, but outside the home. People can do as much yard work as they want, or they can do none at all.
Absolutely. One of our clients was sharing that they weren't quite sure if it was time to move because they had spent so much time curating their yard and all the things we tend to fall in love with that we create. But once they came through and saw the amazing space that we had for family gatherings and those types of things, as well as the opportunity to still do the things that they wanted to in the backyard without the hassle, because of course we take care of all of the front yard mowing in the summer and snow removal in the winter and takes those tasks away from you.
Let's talk about those family gatherings, because your open kind of concept with your kitchen and your family room really does add to that environment.
Absolutely. Our first goal, of course, is to create a home that is easily accessible with no stairs, wider hallways, those types of things that make that one level living so much more convenient. But close second to that is creating those spaces that help the family gathers for special events. So we always try to make sure that our dining room areas are, as you mentioned, open concept. You can fit a bunch of lifetime tables in there if you have to for certain events, and even have a little bit of space too for the kiddos and grandkids to sleep over on the weekends if you need to.
Oh, and I always say I love your pantries, because I need a pantry just like the ones that I've seen in your homes. Amber, tell us where your homes are.
Yeah, so we are building right now in Layton and Syracuse, and also we have a few lots left out in our West Point location. So mostly Davis County for right now. We are looking to expand in other areas, but our active projects are in Davis County right now.
All right, Amber, we'll be talking with you again in a few minutes, and this portion of Midday is sponsored by Ovation Homes.
We want to talk about soda, diet, and nutrition. SOTA stands for state of the art. And Andy and I both let go of massive amounts of weight. You more than me.
70 pounds in 5 months.
And I did 37 pounds in 3 months. And what worked for me was so many things. Talking to a nutritionist every week and having her tell me what to eat. I can do as I'm told.
Yeah.
But I have no clue where to begin.
And I needed the help too. It's just food. There's no pills, no injections. So you learn how to both let go of the weight and then how to keep it off.
So soda, diet, and nutrition is a great place to start. But if you started with pills or medications and you find yourself starting to gain some weight back, soda, diet, and nutrition is a great way to learn how to have a new relationship with food to go into the future.
You can talk with a nutritionist by calling 866-800-SOTA, S-O-T-A, or you can go to their website, sotadietandnutrition.com.
Join now and your partner joins for free. 2 people, real accountability for the price of 1.
Join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Right now, water heaters are on sale at Any Hour Services. Schedule a free estimate today to see how much you'll save. Google Any Hour Services or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
the proposed data center has Box Elder County residents worried about the impacts, but Governor Cox says we have to be willing to have them in our state. I'm KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson.
Second, the House has voted to fund much of the Department of Homeland Security, bringing the longest agency shutdown to an end. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
If you're traveling north or southbound I-15, you're good to go between Ogden and Provo. Over to the west side of the valley, going from Harriman towards Daybreak, you're going to see some slowdowns northbound Mountain View corridor, especially approaching and passing 118th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Repeat beautiful weather today, warmer for the weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy, 57 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The partial government shutdown, leaving federal workers on the job without pay for more than 2 months, is close to ending. House Republicans passing a measure to restore funding to most agencies, except for ICE and CBP. President Trump expected to sign it.
After weeks of inaction, the longest federal agency funding lapse in history ended in mere seconds without a roll call.
All those in favor say aye.
By a voice vote, the House cleared a bill the Senate passed more than a month ago, funding all aspects of the Department of Homeland Security except for immigration enforcement. That will be dealt with separately using the reconciliation process that Democrats can't block with a Senate filibuster. It could see tens of billions more dollars going to ICE and the Border Patrol. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
As the war in Iran hits the 2-month mark, there is a 60-day statutory deadline tomorrow to conclude the conflict. The Trump administration is in, quote, active conversations with lawmakers about requesting congressional authorization for the war, according to a White House official. Gas prices, meantime, in the U.S. now at the highest in 4 years. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze with details.
When you look at a week ago, we're about almost 30 cents, and I bet we'll get about 30 cents higher when you look at the difference. And that is a significant increase in just a short amount of time. So that's really what's changing right now. And that's because of the significant moves that we've seen in oil prices.
The California man federal prosecutors say traveled to Washington, D.C. to carry out a mass attack against President Trump at the White House Correspondents' Dinner was back in court today. A judge ordering that Cole Allen remain held in jail. ABC's Pierre Thomas says prosecutors allege Allen planned the attack in advance.
Sources telling ABC News that after Allen checked in, he allegedly used his laptop to research President Trump's schedule and even went down to scope out the area around the ballroom.
On Wall Street today, stocks are on a rally. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The state is experiencing a very serious water problem. Governor Spencer Cox is considering declaring an emergency drought. He addressed the concerns in his news conference today.
Because the reality is that we are facing this year a very serious drought. Right now, 100% of the state of Utah is in drought, and this is something that every Utahn needs to be aware of. We are coming off the warmest winter on record by nearly 3 degrees, which resulted in what many are calling, instead of a snowpack, a no-pack this year. On April 1st, our snowpack measured just 2.7 inches of snow water equivalent, the lowest ever recorded for that date in Utah. For comparison, we would typically have over 14 inches of snow water equivalent at that same time. Now, it's not that we haven't received water. We've actually had a decent water year. It's that it wasn't cold enough for that water to turn into snow and stay in the mountains. Now, again, for comparison's sake, during the record-breaking winter of 2023, we had over 28 inches of snow water equivalent at that same time. So our snowpack is a little bit like a checking account, and right now that account is essentially empty. That means that in the months ahead, we are relying heavily on our savings, which is our reservoir storage. Reservoirs are what we use, what we depend on for our drinking water, agriculture, healthy ecosystems, and the recreation that defines so much of what people enjoy here in Utah. The good news is that because of strong conservation over the past years and a wet cycle a couple years ago, our reservoirs currently stand at about 72% full, which is actually right around normal for this time of year. So that's great news. The challenge is that we are already about 10% lower than we were at this time last year, and conditions vary significantly across the state. Some reservoirs are doing better than others. These conditions are also impacting, of course, the Great Salt Lake, which is not recovering at the pace that we need it to. Now, while the lake has seen a modest rise this year, it is still far below what we would expect in a healthy water year. The Great Salt Lake, we all know, is essential to our air quality, our economy, and the long-term health of our state. That's why I'm so encouraged to see growing attention and bipartisanship partnership at the national level. Of course, the president has proposed a $1 billion federal investment to help restore the Great Salt Lake. That proposal recognizes that what we've been saying now for many years, that this is not just a Utah problem, but a national priority.
He also mentioned the possibility of water pricing in the state, something we're going to have to watch out for. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky, what's happening?
It's a good time to be out and about to grab a bite to eat. Traffic is light, moving along really, really well. We had an earlier side street crash reported at 2100 South 6th East. I really didn't see anything there obstructing traffic. Freeways look really good right now. We do have a patch of slowing. This is northbound Mountain View corridor going from 118th south towards Daybreak. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast is looking like a pretty spring-esque 7-day for the state of Utah. 64 today, partly cloudy skies, 67 and mostly sunny on your Friday. But Saturday, how about 74? Partly cloudy conditions, giving way to mostly cloudy skies Sunday, but warm at 78. 74, slight chance for some showers on Monday. We keep that slight chance in the forecast Tuesday, 68. And then partly cloudy with a high of 70 degrees next Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy, 57 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick look at the markets. The Dow up by 700 points. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs change, kids grow up, new memes come and go. But what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. You get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no one battling for bandwidth for the next 5 years. All your devices will be working in perfect harmony with the equipment, with no annual contracts, no fees, and no strings. So even though your kid will grow up and you still won't understand 6, 7, the price for your sharp, reliable internet will stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
KSL News Time 1225. President Trump's former reality show, The Apprentice, might be making a comeback.
You're fired.
Amazon is discussing a potential reboot, this time with his oldest son, Donald Trump Jr. Donald Sr., the president, hosted the show for 14 seasons from 2004 to 2015 when he started campaigning. Watching Utah's money. It's going to cost more to shop at Sam's Club. The membership prices are set to increase tomorrow, and they go up about $10. USA Today reports it comes with expansions to new cities and countries. Automakers are boosting their first quarter profit estimations after the Trump administration announced some tariff refunds. Reuters reports a total of $166 billion will be put towards reimbursements. Americans are overpaying for insurance, at least that's according to a new analysis by the Vanderbilt University Policy Accelerator. Americans are being overcharged by $150 billion a year to insure their homes, autos, and businesses. The insurance industry says it's being responsible after taking huge hits from natural disasters. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 783 points. That's about 1.5%. It sits at 49,644. S&P up by 65 points. And the NASDAQ right now, it's up by 194 points. This portion of Midday is sponsored by Ovation Homes. Amber Weixter is with me this hour. And Amber, you know, some of us get older. We start thinking we have to downsize. But the thing I really love about Ovation Homes is you're talking about right-sizing your life, not downsizing your life, making it fit your lifestyle.
Absolutely. As we're kind of talking about this hour, some of my favorite things about our clients, I have a cute couple that we just adore, and he had his house and she had her house, and they had kind of raised their kids. They were both single, met each other, and decided to build with Ovation their house. And so it was so fun to see them come together and design a home that was just really for them. So she got to design the kitchen the way she wanted. They got to design their primary suite and bathroom and with all of these fun things that, you know, probably with kids, you would make a different choice. But hey, now it's just the two of us. We can do what we want. And so that's just totally, you know, some of the joys that we see, especially as people go through and have the opportunity to personalize in our design center, to see that kind of creativity and in some ways dreams come true. It's just fantastic.
So tell us about your design center.
Oh, we have so much fun in our design center. We have, of course, a lot of our local subs. We always go to our local sub base and suppliers that will bring in just beautiful pieces that some, definitely are up there a little bit, and you have to look at it from a budget perspective. But for the most part, they bring in a lot of pieces that have a lot of flexibility of style and color that you really can come in and create that space that fits your personality and your lifestyle.
Remind folks where they can find your homes.
So we are in Davis County. We're in Layton, Syracuse, and West Point. We have a few lots left in West Point. And we really, Maria, have something for everyone. We have larger square footage plans that actually can go up to about 3,400 square feet. And then we have some smaller attached units that start out at about 1,500 square feet. Again, all one level. You've got opportunity for storage. So we have a variety of product types too that people really should come in and take a look at to see what fits them best.
Okay, we're excited to learn more. We'll be talking with you again in just a few minutes. Let's get folks up to date on traffic and weather. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU. Love where you bank. Ricky?
Getting reports of a possible accident in the Riverton area, Bangerter Highway, near 118th South. So far, I'm not seeing anything in the traffic cameras. We'll keep an eye out on it and see if anything develops. But if you're traveling any of the Valley freeways or our main secondaries, so far so good out there. No reports of any other crashes, and we're not seeing any kind of delays. Now, we had a patch of slowing southbound I-15 going from the Kaysville Ponds towards Farmington. Looks like that is starting to clear out and ease. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Those clouds bringing with us a 20% chance of showers, a high today of 64, 57 downtown.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time, 12:30. KSL's top story this hour. The family of a Utah man shot and killed by police after officers fired more than 30 rounds is now suing. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with the latest. Eric?
Maria, this lawsuit is really about one core claim, that officers escalated when they didn't have to. The parents of 28-year-old William Toon III, Bill and Jennifer, say when officers surrounded him inside a Riverdale gas station back in 2024, he wasn't trying to take a hostage, he was trying to get out. The lawsuit says officers yelled that he might take a hostage, then opened fire, hitting him 17 times after shooting more than 30 rounds. Their attorney argues officers chose force over time and created a threat that wasn't actually there. Now, the Weber County attorney had already ruled that shooting legally justified, saying officers believed Toon had a gun, but investigators later confirmed that he didn't. The family says this lawsuit is about accountability and making sure something like this doesn't happen again. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
An 18-year-old is now facing charges accused of assaulting a special needs student at Kearns High School earlier this month. Charging documents say Ivan Rigby and another 16-year-old student threw the victim to the ground after the 16-year-old allegedly restrained the victim and prevented him from leaving the school. Rigby is now facing assault and kidnapping charges. Unified Police tell KSL other juveniles are facing charges as well, but they were not able to say more since the suspects are minors. A University of Utah student has been detained by ICE just days before he was set to graduate. KSL News Radio's Adam Small spoke to that student's soon-to-be fiancé.
He deserves to be home. He deserves to be walking tomorrow on his graduation.
Brittany Hiquez and her boyfriend of 2 years, Lisandro Pantaleon Pacheco, met at the University of Utah. He was going to get his diploma tomorrow and planned to ask Brittany to marry him not long after. Those plans were upended, though, when Hiquez says Lisandro was taken into ICE custody on his way to work yesterday.
I was tracking his location on his phone. We share your location with each other, and I saw him getting transported, and the moment I saw him at the courthouse where his location pinged there, it just broke my heart.
Lisandro's attorney tells me his parents left Mexico and brought him to the U.S. when he was just 1. He has no criminal history outside of one traffic citation, plus Brittany is a U.S. citizen, so Lisandro could apply for a green card after they get married. His attorney tells me if all goes well, Lisandro, who is now in ICE custody in Wyoming, could be back in Utah by the end of May. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL has reached out to ICE for comment, but we have not heard back. The sister of a radio host murdered nearly 5 years ago is speaking out, saying she's concerned watching the rise of intimate partner violence. Rocio Cifuentes says the pain of losing her sister Gabby Ramos has never gone away. Ramos was killed nearly 5 years ago by an ex-boyfriend. Rocio says that she's been concerned by the recent deaths of 3 Latino women. Joel Johnson with the Department of Health and Human Services says domestic violence in Utah is not rare.
Since 2019, we have seen an increase between 2019 and 2023. That's really our most recent data that we have vetted so far.
In the honor of women killed, Rocio is holding a vigil this Friday to support victims and honor the lives lost. A family is lucky to be safe after a fire broke out in their camping trailer in Hooper. Weber County Fire Department says one of the appliances inside failed and sparked the fire. No one was injured, but the trailer is a total loss. That's an estimated $70,000 loss. Mill Creek residents are taking extra precautions after a mountain lion was spotted trying to get into a house. Mike Seralian was shocked to see the cougar prowling around his home. He estimates that it weighed around 150 pounds and was looking for food.
It went after one of my cats. My cat ran inside the house and it chased it and then it was trying to get inside my house.
Seralian called the Division of Wildlife Resources for help. He says he now has plans to install an electric fence and is going to be extra vigilant when letting his pets outside. KSL's top national stories. The war in Iran and the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz has gas prices soaring. President Trump says this could last months. More from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on how oil markets are responding.
When you look at a week ago, we're about almost 30 cents, and I bet we'll get about 30 cents higher when you look at the difference. And that is a significant increase in just a short amount of time. So that's really what's changing right now, and that's because of the significant moves that we've seen in oil prices. We see oil now back above $100 a barrel. We're continuously seeing these big percentages in oil prices going up, and that's why that's translating into higher prices at the pump.
A new message released by Iran's Ayatollah via state media also suggests that any progress in negotiations may be stalled. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Emergency crews have responded to a crash with possible injuries in Utah County. This is southbound Redwood Road after Pioneer Crossing on the right. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
Learn why so many homebuyers trust Cypress Credit Union's mortgage team to help them find their new home. With countless 5-star reviews, our local housing experts are dedicated to getting you into the home of your dreams with the lowest fees and the quickest keys. Enjoy a smooth home buying process. Visit cypresscu.com to get started.
Cypress Credit Union, your future is our future.
Equal housing lender.
Does your home have peeling paint or faded colors? Don't procrastinate. You need to protect your home with quality paint and a worry-free process, so make an appointment with CertaPro Painters. You quickly get a free estimate that's detailed, easy to understand, and then their trusted local professionals will bring fresh color to your home with quality craftsmanship at the right price. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro.com.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and Ad Council.
Thank you for joining me for Midday, recapping our top story. The family of 28-year-old William Toon is suing police, claiming officers escalated and wrongly opened fire during a 2024 shooting that killed him. KSL News Time, 12:37. There's pushback from community members against the proposed data center in Box Elder County, but Governor Cox says it's a good location for it. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Box Elder County residents say they're concerned about the community and environmental impacts of the data center and say there are too many unanswered questions. But Governor Cox says there is a lot of misinformation out there about the water usage.
They have water available. It's not taking additional water away from the Great Salt Lake. It's taking water that would be used for other things and using it for a different purpose now. We have air quality standards that we have to abide by, that they have to abide by.
The data center will have to build its own power supply, so it shouldn't be taking it from our current grid. Cox says we have to be willing to host data centers in our state in order to keep up with the technology race that's happening worldwide with some of our nation's adversaries. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
University of Utah students are asking for the school to lead out in water conservation after the school has already cut back by millions of gallons. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Students gathered at an event held by the Student Coalition for Sustainability asking for the university to decrease their overall water use and revamped calls for the school to make a public dashboard showing how the water is being used. The Daily Utah Chronicle reports since 2015, they've cut back water use by 55 million gallons, partly by removing high water grasses.
A university spokesperson says they're currently working to get a dashboard out by next month. Kaysville is warning residents irrigation water may shut down early in August. The city says with the current conditions, you will see some grass areas and plants going brown around the town as they try and conserve. The city's splash pad will also be closed this year to help with the water supply. We are seeing unusually low water levels at the Great Salt Lake this year due to the dry winter. Joel Ferry with the Utah Department of Natural Resources says this year's snowpack was the lowest recorded in Utah history, and 95% of the water we use comes from that snowpack and ultimately fills the lake.
We've got to be smart about how we use the water. This water is not an unlimited resource. This water is limited. In a year like this, we've got to kind of tighten our belts.
In November, the lake hit its lowest level, and during the winter, in November, the lake does usually hit its lowest level, and during the winter, it slowly rises anywhere from 2 to 4 feet. This year, it only rose 1.6 feet. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. What's the latest, Ricky?
A couple of problems in Utah County. One is an accident northbound I-15 near Center Street, Provo, out of traffic on the shoulder. It's already in the cleanup stages, but the one that requires a little more attention, it's a crash with possible injuries, and this is southbound Redwood Road. It's after Pioneer Crossing, right about 4th North in Saratoga Springs. They have blocked off that ramp in the area on the right shoulder with emergency crews on the scene. We're seeing a little bit of backup on the main flow of Redwood Road. Just be aware they're there. If you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, though, you're good to go. No delays in sight. The Good Feet stores supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for partly cloudy skies today and a high of 64. Up in the mountaintops, maybe a stray shower again. 67, mostly sunny skies on Friday. Saturday, partly cloudy and beautiful with a high of 74. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it is a nice day. Partly cloudy, 57 degrees downtown. Coming up on Midday, we'll talk to the Antelope Island State Park biologist about the little red dogs that are everywhere. They're actually baby bison. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
Here's the secret no one's telling you about those trendy weight loss shots. You may have to take them for life, and many people gain the weight back after stopping. With the Salt Lake City Fat Loss Program, there's a better way. The proprietary natural-based program they utilize has helped thousands of people lose weight and keep it off long-term. Imagine losing up to 10 to 20% of your body weight in just 8 weeks without muscle loss, side effects, or yo-yo rebounds. Ready to transform your body for life? Schedule your free personalized consultation today at slcfatloss.com.
I'm Maria Shilaos. Salt Lake City Fat Loss has worked for me because it's just a simple combination of foods that burn fat, not muscle. Plus, I lost the weight without spending a ton of money on medications. I've not only lost more than 40 pounds, I've been given the resources to keep the weight off for good.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in a month or two. Schedule your free consultation today by going to slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio. The Lieutenant Governor has released an official determination that the effort to repeal Prop 4 was insufficient. The determination says the number of required signatures was met, but there were only 24 of the necessary 29 Senate districts. Now, that means a petition to get rid of the new congressional districts will not be on the ballot this year. KSL's top national stories now from ABC News.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franz, and the partial government shutdown set to end with the president's signature, the House passing the Senate-approved measure to fund most agencies of DHS after Democrats pushed for immigration reform. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The House, by voice vote, passed this Senate legislation ending the Department of Homeland Security partial government shutdown after 76 days. There was not a recorded vote. There was no moment of drama on the House floor. It was just by the yays and nays, meaning people going yay and people going nay. That's not how legislation is usually passed, but it is now advanced, and now it's headed to President Trump's desk.
In Texas, officials at Camp Mystic say they're withdrawing their license to operate application this summer to give families more time to grieve. 25 campers and 2 teen counselors died after historic flooding last July 4th. It follows emotional testimony in the past few weeks as Texas lawmakers investigate the camp officials' response. On Wall Street, stocks are up. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The baby bison, also called little red dogs, are taking over Antelope Island. Antelope Island State Park biologist Ben Morris joins me now live. Ben, thanks for being with me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this opportunity.
So tell us what's happening. Why are there so many right now?
It's birthing season out here on Antelope Island. Bison are usually born around April through most of May. And actually, we've hit the peak of birthing season, of calving season right here on the island. So we're getting a lot of them every day.
So are you seeing more this year than in the past?
Well, not really more. It's just the time of year. The time of year is such that they're coming right now, and we can see them come every day. And it's a great time to be out here and see the young bison.
Okay, so where does the nickname Red Dogs come from?
Well, that's really a neat name and a great question. Bison are born, they're this beautiful, resty orange color, and they're actually highly active and run around, similar to how dogs act. So because of this, they have this bright color, and they have this playful, puppy-like demeanor, so they call them red dogs.
So, Ben, you said this is a great time to see them, but aren't the moms of these babies territorial? I mean, is it dangerous to come out to the island right now?
It's not dangerous to come out to the island. It's pretty safe. We really don't have many problems with bison out here, but that really depends upon you, the person, as you come out here. You are kind of the guide of your own future when you come onto the island. You have to remember bison are wild animals, and like all wild animals, they can be dangerous even without new calves. And with new calves, yes, definitely they can be dangerous. In many respects, bison are no different than humans, especially in concern for their young. Imagine if you're sitting in your living room with a newborn baby and a 1-ton bison walked through the front door. You're really going to be somewhat concerned about that. You're going to express your displeasure, and you're going to tell it to move away. Importantly, you're going to be willing to use whatever force you need to protect your baby. And so are those bison. From the bison's point of view, they communicate very clearly what they're doing and what they want you to do. And in their mind, if you're not going to listen to them, they're going to show you what they mean. And unfortunately, they can be very mean about showing you what they mean. So while we encourage everyone to come out and enjoy this incredible show of nature here on the island, there are several things we ask people to do to respect the bison and stay safe. First, and the easiest one, is stay in your car and watch through the windows. Bison are really confident and comfortable with cars moving by. They move by every day. If they're far away, as in several hundred yards away, it is possible to get out and take a look and see what's out there. Please, if you do get out of your vehicle, stay within the silhouette of your vehicle because bison are used to that vehicle being there. Don't go near the bison. If you haven't listened so far and do decide to go near them, they will tell you to back off, and we highly encourage you to listen to them. First, they're going to look at you. If they continue to feel threatened, they're going to raise their tail halfway up. If they raise it all the way up. They may even lower their head, and this is to show you their horns and that they really mean business. Last, they're going to start kicking dirt backwards. Really pay attention to this because this could be the last thing you see for a while, so we recommend you not take it that far.
All right, Ben, I'm going to stay in my car. Thank you so much
You
for
bet.
joining me. That is Antelope Island State Park biologist Ben Morris. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic, and weather. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky?
I got scared just listening to him.
Staying in the car, but I want to see them for sure.
Oh, they're beautiful. Definitely recommend a trip to Antelope Island and see all the wildlife out there. We have a crash in Utah County near Saratoga Springs. This is southbound Redwood Road. It's after Pioneer Crossing near 4th North. They are blocking that right lane of traffic, which is a ramp, so you'll need to use some caution getting around it. Now, if you're traveling any of the Valley freeways, you're rolling along with no other problems in sight. At UTA, it's never just a ride from point A to point B. They move independence. They move purpose. They move memories. They move what matters, you. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. You got partly cloudy skies today and a high of 64. Beautiful conditions. 67 tomorrow, mostly sunny. And look at Saturday. Partly cloudy, 74. Sunday even better with a high of 78, though the caveat is we've got mostly cloudy skies. Monday, 74, slight chance for showers. Keeping showers in the forecast Tuesday, 68. And then it's 70 and partly cloudy by Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now in downtown Salt Lake City, the temperature has climbed to 61, very nice degrees. And the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Check in the markets. The Dow now up by about 850 points. Complete update of your money news is coming up next. This portion of our news is sponsored by Ovation Homes. Amber Weikstra is with me. She's been with me this hour. We've been talking about, you know what, don't downsize, right-size your life with Ovation Homes. And Amber, we don't want people just to take our word for it. They can come out and see the homes. You have some special events over the next couple of months.
Yes, you definitely, if this is the type of lifestyle that you're looking for, giving yourself enough time to do your homework, I think is so important. And so we have these events throughout the year where you can just come and learn more about the product, learn more about the models, walk through our models, see how they feel. And so in May, we're actually going to be showcasing our attached product, which is in Syracuse, down off of the new West Davis corridor, kind of down in that area. And we are celebrating our phase 5. We've actually just open phase 5, and we've already sold 4 units. We have in that particular project, I believe we have 12 units left. So it's a great time if you're interested in this type of living to come out and see that in May. And we got some incentives and some different things, and you can go to our website to find out about that. As well as in June, we're going to be doing a grand opening of our community here in Layton. And then in July, Maria, you get to come and be with us during the
greenhouse is going to be with you.
Homes.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, so we're very excited and just always encourage people that are looking at this, again, type of living, that you need to come out and feel what it's like. You need to come see how it feels spatially to make sure that this is absolutely the path that you want to take. And sometimes, you're ready to make a move, and sometimes you're not ready to make a move for a few more years, but that's totally okay. We love to have you come and join our Ovation Nation, as we call them.
All right. So one thing about this is I want people to understand this isn't downsizing, because when we talk about right sizing, you have this open concept that makes all of the family areas feel so big and, so spacious.
We really do. In fact, just going back to the time we spent on the radio when we did our remote with you and Ton, we were in that dining room, but goodness sakes, that the living room's right there in the kitchen, and just you have this amazing open space that is so fun to have friends over and entertain, but yet it's small enough that you don't feel like you're cleaning all the time, you know?
We don't want to be cleaning all the time. That much I do know
That's
for sure.
right.
Amber, thanks so much for being with me today. That is Amber Weixter. She's with me from Ovation Homes.
Come see what all the buzz is about at Utah's oldest Volkswagen dealer, Strong Volkswagen. New Jetta are just $158 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days. At Strong Volkswagen, lease new 2026 Jetta S just $158 a month. $158. Even new Tiguan, $233 a month. $233. And the roomy, family-ready Atlas, just $350 a month. Atlas comes standard with heated seats, heated steering wheel, keyless start, and third-row seating. They're selling fast with 0% financing for 60 months. And you get a lifetime warranty. Lifetime, no charge. Make a beeline for German engineering and a new lineup that's creating all the buzz. New Jetta, $158 a month. New Tiguan, $233 a month during Volkswagen Driver Days at Strong. Strong Volkswagen, driven by transparency, built on family, powered by people who care. For over 70 years, Strong Volkswagen, located downtown. StrongVW.com. StrongVW.com. For details, call 801-596-2200.
KSL News Time 12:55. We are watching Utah's money. Amazon had a good quarter despite the war in Iran. Company reported better than expected numbers, and analysts say it has something to do with its cloud segment. CNBC reports revenue has increased 28% in the last year. Soap, deodorant, and some other everyday items will be getting more expensive. Unilever is increasing prices. Reuters reports it's because of higher than expected costs driven by the war in Iran. Coors Light is expanding into new markets, launching non-alcoholic beer. It comes just ahead of an anticipated very beer-heavy summer with the World Cup coming to the U.S. Nielsen IQ reported a 134% increase in non-alcoholic drink options from 2021 to 2025. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 829 points, about 1.75%, sitting at 49,690. S&P up by 72 points, that's a full percent. The NASDAQ up by 213 points. How safe is artificial intelligence? A tech CEO claims an AI tool wiped out all of his company's data in just 9 seconds.
The AI had deleted Pocket OS's entire production database. The company was able to restore the data, but only to the most recent backup from 3 months ago. It comes as experts raise the alarm about the growing power of AI. Earlier this month, Anthropic said one of its new models, Mythos, placed in a secure environment with no internet access, managed to break out. Elon Musk predicted that artificial intelligence would be smarter than humans as soon as next year.
That is ABC's Sophie Flay reporting. Some pro Dancing with the Stars fan favorites will be in Utah this weekend. They will be at the Eccles Theater on Saturday and Sunday. Some celebrities are excited to make an appearance as well. So far, Alex Earl, Dylan Efron, Jordan Childs, and Elaine Hendricks have appeared. The show will be hosted by season 34 contestant, funny man Andy Richter.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system,
she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU. Love where you bank. Ricky?
We are getting reports of a crash with possible injuries in the downtown area. It may involve a pedestrian or an auto versus bike. This is 9th South and 4th West. Also, a crash in Magna, eastbound about 2100 South, SR 201 and 80th West. They're blocking off almost all lanes of that intersection. I don't think you're going to be able to get through there for much, much longer. Ricky Neese in the KSL Traffic Center.
We still have a 20% chance of showers across the Wasatch Front this afternoon. Today's high 64, up to 67 tomorrow, and the weekend looks really nice with highs in the 70s and a very slight chance of rain on Sunday. Right now in downtown Salt Lake City, we have a lot of sunshine and 61 degrees. Other parts of the state, Ogden's at 61, Provo's at 60, and in Park City at this hour, 46 degrees.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A new report just out finding that the state's proposed homeless campus on Salt Lake City's west side is unlikely to be successful.
Treatment first approach, similar to the one being proposed for Salt Lake City, reports that the approach was ineffective, and since then it has pivoted to a housing-focused approach.
State leaders saying the campus is just an idea at this point, and that even if it doesn't go forward, they are still dedicated to helping Utah's homeless community get the services they need.
Making sure that people are connected with the type of services that they need.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, April 30th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll go in depth on the latest plans to tackle homelessness in the state, live with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Also this hour, as the weather warms up and more motorcyclists hit the road, law enforcement is asking drivers to be more alert than ever before.
Last year we lost 72 motorcycles on our Utah roads. This is the highest that we've ever seen, not even close, and something that we do not want to continue.
But first, our top stories. A University of Utah student has been detained by ICE just days before he was set to graduate. Brittany Hetkes says her boyfriend, Lisandro Pantaleo Pacheco, was picked up by ICE while on his way to work yesterday in Park City and was taken to Wyoming.
He deserves to be home. He deserves to be walking tomorrow on his graduation.
Pacheco's attorney says he has no criminal history outside of a single traffic citation. His attorney says he hopes to have him back in Utah within a month. KSL has reached out to ICE for comment, but we have not heard back. Our top national story from ABC News. The Homeland Security shutdown, which has now lasted for 76 days, is coming to an end. Both the House and Senate have finally passed a bill, which is now headed to President Trump's desk for final approval. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has more.
After passing the Senate, the measure was stalled for more than a month in the House, but it cleared its final hurdle in seconds with a voice vote.
In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 being in the affirmative.
The bill funds all aspects of DHS except for immigration enforcement, which will now be dealt with through the reconciliation process, which Democrats can't block with a filibuster in the Senate. Speaker Mike Johnson triumphantly notes it'll mean 3 years' worth of funding for ICE and the Border Patrol, and that'll be without the reforms Democrats have been demanding.
Don't doubt the House Republican majority.
Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
We'll have more on the shutdown in about 10 minutes. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 863 points, sitting at 49,725. S&P is setting a new intraday record high. It's up by 75 points, and the Nasdaq gets up by 218 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
Emergency crews have blocked all lanes of travel. This is due to a crash with injuries eastbound SR 201 at 8000 West in Magna. You need to use caution trying to get around that. The final cleanup of a crash in Utah County, southbound Redwood Road after Pioneer Crossing, and for downtown drivers, heads up. Emergency crews on the scene of a crash with injuries, 9th South and 4th West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Slight chance of showers today. Our next best chance of showers early next week, Monday and Tuesday, about a 40% chance of showers right now. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Amanda, every business needs IT help. And sometimes you've got that guy who already works for your company who knows how to do this stuff, but sometimes you don't. Or the guy who knows the IT stuff, that's not his actual job.
Right. So Les Olson IT they can be your 24/7 help desk. They can support your existing help desk. They can do advanced cybersecurity protection. Maybe just come and take a look. Are you subject to phishing or ransomware or other things? What are the cyber threats you're facing?
And you've got to make sure that your data is secure. So both cloud and data backup solutions, they can help you with that. Plus, everybody's got to use a computer. That's where hardware comes in, infrastructure support. You don't have to know all this stuff because Les Olson IT knows it.
And most of the time, they can help you fix whatever's going wrong remotely, just off your computer. Plus, of course, they have copiers and printers. They always will at the very best price.
Les Olson IT is your trusted local IT partner. They've been in business for 70 years, and they've got 9 locations from Logan to Las Vegas.
Find out more at lesolson.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah has been toying with the idea of a homeless campus for months now, a place that would provide 1,300 shelter beds and all sorts of social services all in one place. The proposal sparked strong criticism from leaders in Salt Lake City's West Side, which is where the facility would be built. Now, third-party researchers are finding that this proposal is likely to fail in its goal to improve chronic homelessness. We're going to get reaction from state leaders in just a moment, but let's get more in depth on the report itself with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson, who joins me now live in the studio. Heather?
So the report was put together by an independent third party called Social Impacts Insight, and they looked at a lot of research and statistics on homelessness from around the country, specifically in 5 other cities that have already tried to implement homeless campuses. And Samuel Dalstrup, co-author of the report, who's an economist and public policy researcher, says the campus in Salt Lake City was always meant to focus on high utilizers, those who have been arrested or cited for more than 4 times in a year. And what they looked at these other case studies, they found that these temporary solutions didn't work for these high utilizers.
When we're talking about individuals experiencing chronic homelessness, often co-occurring with substance abuse disorder and with severe mental illness challenges, there's increased shelter capacity, I think, is a first thing. But that's not a long-term solution. But there the literature we reviewed again for this study is clear that a housing model that includes supports has been it's not a cure-all, but in Salt Lake, for example, over 95% of folks that are in that sort of a placement, that are in a permanent supportive housing placement, maintain that housing year over year.
Kimberly Burnett, the other co-author on this report, who's an economist and housing policy researcher, said they especially zoomed in on San Antonio's Haven for Hope campus in their research to see what was working and what wasn't. And she reiterated that when they didn't have that long-term support, chronic homelessness actually increased after people left these campuses. And so that tends to be the bigger problem.
These are chronic conditions that people are managing, and that long-term recovery is unlikely without support after exit from the campus. So chronic conditions are more likely managed than cured, and so this long-term support is likely to be needed. That can include supportive and other permanent housing, and without that kind of support, there could be relapse and returns to homelessness and continued cycling through public systems. So the campus does not necessarily reduce the need for additional affordable housing.
So, Heather, were there any other issues that were brought up by the report?
Yeah, they talked about how costs were also vastly underestimated, and I'll share a little bit about that here.
If we can assume that those costs are similar in Utah, our estimate is that the campus in Utah is more likely to cost about $142 million to construct, and about $47 million for operations. So we think that the state's estimates are fairly drastic underestimates. And then when we factor in some features that are unique to the Utah campus, that are likely to require some higher security, and the fact that it's in a fairly isolated location with limited infrastructure, there's some additional costs that are involved there.
All right. So, Heather, where does the homeless campus stand today?
Well, the researchers say that they wanted to take a look at this regardless of where things stand, because the idea was kind of a case study for federal policy that the Trump administration had asked them to start solving homelessness and the crime that comes along with that. But it does seem like things are on pause.
Federal funding for the campus has not materialized, and the Utah General Legislature session this spring ended without major funding for the campus. Regardless, there are still public quotes that Utah policymakers remain committed to the concept, and it remains a test case for the shift in federal policy.
And I actually just got off the phone with Tyler Clancy. He's the state homelessness coordinator, and I asked him where things stand. He said the homeless campus was just one concept that was proposed, but they're really focused on whatever method will accomplish the governor's goals for addressing chronic homelessness.
Governor Cox has outlined 3 pillars that really outline his vision for how he would like to see the homeless services system enhanced. The first is accountability for high utilizers in the criminal justice system. So we know that there's a large overlap with a very, very small subset of the population that commits an inordinate amount of crimes across the state. And what we're trying to do there is recognize that these are folks who are in crisis. And it's not compassionate to them to allow the cycle to repeat, and it's certainly not compassionate to the community and to neighbors who are impacted by that behavior. The second pillar is affordable housing and emergency shelter. So just as you mentioned, making sure that we have those housing options available, and also we have this shelter system that's robust, that front door into the system. And so making sure we're supporting our efforts there. And finally, mental and behavioral health infrastructure is the final pillar. And what that is we recognize once again that there's a group of individuals experiencing homelessness, that their primary challenge is actually a mental health challenge. And so they need that type of healthcare and that type of infrastructure in order to heal and to get on a better path of stability and ultimately of self-sufficiency and healing. And so the governor is really being particular, not to say it's one option or the other. We're taking an all the above approach of a yes and so we want to invest in treatment, housing, shelter, and the supportive mental health infrastructure that we all recognize we need.
He emphasized that the homeless campus was just one proposed iteration of how to accomplish those goals. But as of right now, the legislature has approved about $45 million for homeless services. So that's what they're focused on.
All right. Thank you, Heather. That is KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Stay with us. We'll be back with more in just 60 seconds.
On top of home and auto, Progressive protects your boat, RV, and motorcycle so you can explore the unknown.
Actually, we just take the RV to the same campground every year.
Well, maybe you can catch your own dinner on your boat.
Oh, we can actually get pizza delivered there from this brick oven place we love.
Will you at least try a new topping?
Honestly, probably not. We kind of have a go-to order.
Fine. Just bundle home or auto insurance with your outdoor vehicles with Progressive and stay protected when you go, I guess, where you've gone before. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
All in together now, we can make it better. Can we do it? We'll rope it up. Cause we know how to jump.
Moving and eating better every day can help make you and your kids healthier. Search We Can online to find out more. A message from the Ad Council, HHS, and NIH's We Can program.
The longest agency shutdown in history finally about to end. The House has passed a bill to fund much of the Department of Homeland Security.
The net result of passing our reconciliation bill is that ICE and CBP are funded for 3 years, and Democrats got absolutely nothing for their political charade and shenanigans out of that.
Democrats did not support the bill, saying there needs to be significant reforms to DHS and accountability for immigration enforcement practices. The bill already passed by the Senate does not include U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Republicans are expected to pursue separate legislation to fund ICE and the CBP. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo has more on how we got to this point today.
The Democrats are fighting it. They have been voting against it, but through this reconciliation process of the budget resolution, it would be a way for them to kind of go around them and not need to rely on their votes. Of course, it did take about 5 hours for the House to pass it last night due to other internal disagreements between Republicans. But with this, it would allow them to put that other DHS bill that the Democrats do support. That bill is the one that funds everything except immigration funding.
And that is the bill that just passed the House a short time ago. On Inside Sources this morning, Cami said that the timing for this funding package to go into effect was crucial, since Congress is about to take another week-long recess. Among many questions Americans have had as they have seen folks like TSA workers working without a paycheck right now is whether or not there will be back pay.
So what we did see, a few weeks ago was that issue of TSA workers and others not being paid. Since then, Trump did sign some executive orders that gave them some back pay, and they've been paid up till this point. But after this week, DHS officials say they would no longer have that money from the administration to be able to pay them, which kind of puts, this week as that deadline. So they do need to reopen the department. Otherwise, they won't be paid come next week. Regardless, though, whenever it does open, any pay that has been missing, they are legally obligated to get that back pay. So again, the timing just kind of makes it weird. But regardless, whatever pay they may be missing, they will be receiving.
Cami Mondo is the D.C.-based congressional correspondent at the Deseret News. And again, we are waiting word on whether or not President Trump will sign the funding package or veto it. The latest numbers from the Commerce Department show the U.S. economy remains resilient despite headwinds like the war in Iran and the Trump tariffs. News Nation's Alicia Neves has more from Wall Street.
We saw 2% solid growth for Q1. That's from January to March. And all of March, we were entrenched in this war with Iran. It's certainly a higher read than we got in Q4, which was only 0.5%. And it's at the top of what expectations were. We were expecting 1 to 2% of economic growth. Now, overall, saw compared to what we saw last year, it is a bit of a slowdown, but given all of, again, these economic headwinds, it is at the high end of expectations and better than what most thought. It's one of those reports that may not match what some Americans are feeling in their household, but it shows strong economic growth and resilient economic growth amid a time where we have this ongoing conflict with Iran. This report reflects a growth in the economy from January of this year to March of this year, and it shows 2% growth. The expectation was 1 to 2%, so this was on the high end of that expectation, and it shows a substantial jump from even Q4 of last year.
Neve says it's important to recognize that the numbers could change with future revisions.
And it's important to give context to this report. It's the initial estimate for Q1 GDP. There's always a second estimate that happens in about 30 days from now and a final estimate that happens 60 days from now. I point that out because there have been major revisions in the past. You just look at the previous report to this one, Q4 GDP of last year. Initially, we had a read of 1.4%. The final read was only 0.5%. So we saw a drop of more than half of the initial read. Obviously, you want to hope that we keep this number strong, and certainly it shows even further stronger growth, but we've got to wait to the final report, which comes out 60 days from now. Contributing factors to the growth that we saw were continued and growing investments in the U.S., growing exports, consumer spending, even though consumers are paying a lot more at the pump, and even government spending, particularly non-defense spending. You know, after the government shutdown last year and federal workers not getting paid, there was a bump in that at the beginning of this year.
News Nation's Alicia Neves reporting from Wall Street. Coming up at 1:30, we're going to chat with Salt Lake City leaders about new plans just released that will help preserve and celebrate the historic Japantown culture, even as a major downtown entertainment district takes shape. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky?
In Magna, all lanes are now open. Where we had the earlier crash, it's been moved off to the side. SR 201 80th West, the final remains of the crash in Saratoga Springs. So Utah County drivers, that right lane is blocked. Southbound Redwood Road after Pioneer Crossing. And downtown drivers, cleanup continues of a crash at 9th South and 4th West. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, it's Greg Skordas, and for years and years, I'd maintained the same weight until I hit 60, and then it started piling on. I don't know why. I could not get that weight to come off. So I contacted Soda, and I said, look, I need to lose between 20 and 30 pounds. They said, sign up, and so I did. There's no pills, there's no injections, it's just food. I have a nutritionist who helps me, and I told her, look, I can't even wear some of the suits I used to wear. Well, after the first week, I lost 8 pounds. After the second week, I'd lost over 10 pounds. I'm starting to be able to put some of my suits on. I'm starting to be able to put my belt on like I hadn't before. I'm back on the bicycle again. I'm getting outside again, and I'm doing the activities that I did when I was 40 years old. Having my wife join me was great because you can join now and your partner joins for free. That's right, 2 people for the price of 1. SodaDietNutrition.com. It's a great program. It's worked for me. It'll work for you. SOTA, as in state of the art. SodaDietNutrition.com. Soda Weight Loss. Join them for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Over the years, you've brought opioids into your home. They helped when you were in pain, and you held on to them just in case. But holding on to opioids puts your family at risk. Learn more at www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. As motorcycle season gets underway, safety is a top focus for law enforcement officials. It comes after a record number of deadly motorcycle crashes last year. KSL's Tyrese Boone has more on the efforts to end this deadly trend.
This event is a sobering reminder of just how dangerous Utah roads have been in the past year. And officials say those deaths could have been prevented, and they're hoping to change that this season.
DPS says more than 75% of riders killed in 2025 did not have a motorcycle endorsement, and only about 10% had completed any formal safety training. 72 motorcyclists were killed on Utah roads last year, the highest total ever recorded. At today's event, 80 helmets were lined along the track, representing motorcycle deaths from last year through April.
Last year we lost 72 motorcycles on our Utah roads. This is the highest that we've ever seen. Not even close, and something that we do not want to continue with.
Officials say many of these crashes come down to preventable behaviors like speeding and drivers failing to yield.
Our drivers that are impacting these motorcyclists are failing to yield the right of way, failure to stay in the proper lane, and unsafe speeds.
They're also urging drivers to look twice and give those motorcyclists extra space. Reporting from Taylorsville, Tyrese Boone, KSL 5 News.
You can get more information and learn ways to keep motorcyclists safe by going to ridetolive.utah.gov. First-time homebuyers getting some extra help from the Salt Lake Board of Realtors.
I think there's a need out there for first-time homebuyers. They need help because of the cost of housing to get into a home, and this is one way that we could help the community and help first-time buyers get into a house. And so that's why we decided to do it.
They are giving away $240,000 in grants to first-time home buyers to help with their down payments. Each grant is $10,000 to be used for that purpose. Communications Director Dave Anderton says they started the program in 2019.
And back then, someone had the idea that we should start this grant to help first-time buyers get into a house, and that's what it's mainly used for. It was only a $5,000 grant in 2019, and we've since raised it to $10,000 because higher housing costs, obviously, in the last several years, the price of homes has gone up so much. The money for the grant comes from a trust account where they sweep the interest off, and these accounts are when you have home buyers out there that put down earnest money when they're making an offer on a home. That earnest money goes in these trust accounts. It earns interest, and they sweep that interest off those accounts. That money is used for the American Dream Grant.
To qualify, Anderton tells KSL News Radio's Isabella Sosa, to qualify, applicants must meet a few requirements.
They have to use a real estate agent that belongs to our association, so a realtor who is an active member of our association. They have to be working with a realtor. They have to be a first-time home buyer or have not owned a home within the last 3 years. They have to have a credit score above 640, and they have to have a household income no more than about $141,000.
You can apply for the American Dream Grant through your realtor.
If they're working with a realtor, they can have their realtor apply on their behalf on our website. And, we only have about 100 or a little more than 100 people that apply for these, and we give away 4 of them. So your odds of getting it are a lot better than the lottery, because you have about 100 applicants and we're giving out 4 every other month, and they're each worth $10,000.
Anderton says prospective buyers have a couple of opportunities to apply, but the deadline for the next is coming up quickly.
The next drawing is May 20th, So I think the applications will close the day before, and then we will do it again in July. So we do it every other month this year. This year we're giving away $240,000 in grants. Prior to this year, we have already given $500,000 away in grants.
He says the next round of grants will be announced on May 20th, and another round will be announced in July. First-time homebuyers can apply at slrealtors.com. A new trend online claims to help alleviate symptoms of menopause in older women. But is it legit? ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Tara Narula says, unfortunately, the data doesn't really back up these claims.
Well, we all know that some of these social media trends really need to be evaluated with caution. And let's just say this is also one of those. So we're talking about a trend that talks about Allegra and Pepcid. Allegra is a drug that's typically used for allergies. Pepcid, a drug that's typically used for ulcers or acid reflux. Both of them have antihistamine effects. They block histamine. Histamine is a chemical in the body that we often think about with immune function. It has neurotransmitter properties. It also acts on our gut digestion and in allergic reactions. However, there is no real data or studies that link histamine and menopause. So while a lot of women may think that histamine has to do with what they're experiencing during menopause, we really believe that it is a result of fluctuations in hormones like estrogen. So what's the problem with combining these meds? Well, we've talked about this before on GMA, but over-the-counter meds, even though they're over-the-counter, every medicine has risks and side effects that you have to think about. For example, these drugs could interact with other drugs that you're taking. And if you take these, some of the side effects or risks could include things like sedation, confusion, dizziness, headache, lowering of your platelets, part of the blood that causes clotting, reductions in vitamin B, even hot flashes or heart rhythm problems, some of the symptoms that you might be trying to treat with menopause. So it's really important to be careful, to listen carefully to your doctors.
So what does Dr. Narula suggest women experiencing menopause symptoms do instead to find some relief?
The recommendations are, if you are suffering, speak up, right? That's the first thing. We're so happy that women are talking about menopause and their symptoms. We have menopause certified providers. You can go on menopause.org and find someone to talk about what is the right treatment for me. We have great treatments. So hormone replacement therapy, as we've talked about, can be really beneficial for women with symptoms who are low risk within 10 years of menopause under the age of 60. They come in all forms, gels, patches, pills. We have non-hormonal therapies for women who can't take hormones. Drugs like Veoza or even Paxil, which is an antidepressant type drug. So we have options is the point, but you want to review this with your physician. And then there's lifestyle things like exercise, stress management, cognitive behavioral therapy, healthy diet.
Dr. Narula says in the end, talk with your doctor and don't rely on social media trends for health advice. She also says it's important to not suffer in silence, but to talk openly with your doctor and your support system if you're going through menopause. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. A massive mural to remember and honor the history of Salt Lake's Japantown coming soon to downtown. Utah sports leaders and coaches sharing insights into the books that have directed their lives, and KSL traffic, Ricky.
Construction delays on Main Street in Tooele County. Maria?
A high today of 64 degrees, just a slight chance of showers. It's 1:30, KSL's top local stories in 1 minute.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump at the White House signing an executive order to extend retirement accounts to workers without company benefits.
I'm thrilled to sign a historic executive order expanding access to high-quality retirement savings accounts for millions of Americans.
The president directing the Treasury to create an avenue to sign up for those retirement programs. After 76 days of the partial government shutdown, House Republicans narrowly passed the Senate-backed DHS funding bill. The president expected to sign it today. It's been 2 months since the U.S. began attacks on Iran. President Trump says he thinks Iran wants to make a deal to end the war, but Iran's supreme leader in a message says Iran will never give up its nuclear ambitions. Tomorrow, the Trump administration is facing the 60-day statutory deadline under the War Powers Resolution to end the conflict or seek congressional authorization for the war. A White House official says there are active conversations about getting authorization. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. It's official. The petition to get rid of the new congressional districts will not be on the ballot this year. This after the lieutenant governor released a statement today saying that the effort to repeal Prop 4 failed. It came down to signatures. Only 24 out of 29 of the required Senate districts received the number they needed. Other local stories KSL is following. There's pushback from community members against a proposed data center in Box Elder County, but Governor Cox is defending the location choice. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
Box Elder County residents say they're concerned about the community and environmental impacts of the data center and say there are too many unanswered questions. But Governor Cox says there is a lot of misinformation out there about the water usage.
They have water available. It's not taking additional water away from the Great Salt Lake. It's taking water that would be used for other things and using it for a different purpose now. We have air quality standards that we have to abide by, that they have to abide by.
The data center will have to build its own power supply, so it shouldn't be taking it from our current grid. Cox says we have to be willing to host data centers in our state in order to keep up with the technology race that's happening worldwide with some of our nation's adversaries. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment. The Dow is up by 854 points, sitting at 49,716. S&P up by 75. The NASDAQ up 232 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. With Save Big, UCCU, love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a quiet drive on the Valley freeways, the final cleanup of a crash downtown, 9th South and 4th West, and construction slowdowns. It could be either direction of SR 36 Main Street into Willa County, but right now I'm seeing big northbound slowdowns. It starts as you're approaching Stansbury Park into Mills Junction at Pole Canyon Road. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Slight chance of showers in the forecast for today with a high of 64 degrees. Next chance of showers, the best chance coming on Monday and Tuesday of next week, where we do have a 40% chance of showers. Those showers could move in on Sunday night, about a 10% chance then. 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Did you know Utah State University is home to one of the nation's leading centers for disability research and advocacy? At the Institute for Disability Research Policy and Practice, we work side by side with Utahns with disabilities, their families, and community partners to make our state more accessible and inclusive for everyone. Our researchers, educators, and advocates partner with family service providers and policymakers to create real lasting change. We believe that everyone deserves a chance to live, learn, work, and play in our communities. From helping children reach their potential in early intervention programs, to building accessible technologies, to improving mental health and employment supports, our work touches every corner of the state. The Institute for Disability Research, Policy, and Practice is the only disability-focused research center in the state of Utah. That means we're Utah's home for innovation, data-driven policy, and community solutions that make life better for people with disabilities. Find us at idrpp.usu.edu.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A new mural is going up in downtown Salt Lake City this summer and is expected to elevate one of the city's historic neighborhoods. The mural will appear in the block known as Japantown. Before much of the neighborhood was demolished to make way for the Salt Palace Convention Center, Japantown was filled with businesses, restaurants, and markets owned and operated by residents of Japanese descent. Now, all that remains is the Japanese Church of Christ and the Salt Lake Buddhist Temple. As the city moves forward with more redevelopment in the area, like the new sports and entertainment district stretching east from the Delta Center, a mural has been commissioned to highlight the neighborhood's history. Renato Olmedo Gonzalez is the public art program manager for the Salt Lake City Arts Council, and he joined me to talk about the community effort behind this mural.
So this mural is created by an artist named Cole Eisenhower. It was a community-informed process that we work with at Japantown Art Committee. So this art committee was made up of representatives that have been working in the larger Japantown streetscape design effort. It includes representatives from the Japanese Church of Christ, the Salt Lake Buddhist Temple, and other stakeholders that have been there. And what we hope to create is give the community something or an artwork that celebrates the history of the place, that celebrates where Japantown has been, where it hopes to continue going, and honor really the community members that have made this such a special place in downtown Salt Lake City.
For those people who maybe have not seen the rendering, kind of describe what this looks like.
Sure thing. So the artwork is actually inspired by kintsugi, and kintsugi is it's the Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold. So in kintsugi, you repair broken pottery and you utilize gold to really highlight the cracks in a way. So these cracks are illuminated rather than being concealed, and it really becomes a beautiful way of extending into the larger effort for Japantown. You know, it's a community and it's a place in Salt Lake City that has gone through quite a bit of history, and you can even argue that it has been broken in the past. So kintsugi is a way of repairing it, and there's different vignettes that the artist Cole Eisenhower describes as a visual diary, vignettes of Japantown, Japanese American history, and other aspects of community life that are highlighted throughout. So you'll see photographs of community members, past and present. You'll see important elements of history for the community in general that are highlighted. Okaga-sama Day, which is the ethos of the project. And it is a Japanese translation that translates to I am here because of those around me, or I am here because of you. And that ethos in Japanese has driven the community members, the Japantown Art Committee, and the artists into reflecting on artwork. So that appears in kanji in the top right corner of the artwork, but the design also has references to the incarceration of Japanese American members during World War II at Topaz, which is here in Utah, cultural traditions, important community figures, and the artist hopes to frame Japantown not as a site of memory, but also as a living and evolving community.
Besides the colorful vignettes that I've seen in the rendering, the size of the mural is the other thing that really stands out to me. Maybe you could describe that for folks.
So we're working to put this mural on the north-facing side of the multi-ethnic senior high-rise, which is a building that's directly behind the Salt Lake Buddhist Temple. And it's really, really tall. It's, I think, 15 stories high. And what the artwork, the wall isn't quite incredible just because it's able to make a presence. So I think for Japantown and the community members and for the artists, the artwork in itself makes a statement of the kind of that reflects on the communities here, and it's hoping to continue to talk about its past, its present, and its future. So it will be the largest mural that the artist has done, and it will be one of the largest murals here in Salt Lake City just because it's so tall. So we're excited about it because I think the size of it, it's hard to ignore, but it also makes it's a presence, and it makes it stand out for the community itself. So you'll be able to see it from Japantown from several angles.
Yeah. Is this also a symbol that Japantown will be able to stay where it is in the near future?
Correct. That's the goal. Yeah, that's the goal, and I think that's the hope of the commissioning of this mural through the Community Reinvestment Agency and the Public Art Program.
So when is this still a proposal, or what still needs to happen before this becomes a reality?
So the mural is the renderings that we release that people will be able to see online. It's pretty close to what we want to depict. Some final elements may have to change just a tiny bit depending on, permissions and photographs and adjusting colors, etc. So you should be able to see it in the next few weeks. And then we hope to paint it later this summer. So we have a goal of painting it by the end of June, early July, although things may change depending on weather. So it will happen this summer.
All right. Anything that you'd like to add?
That this process was very community informed. I think Cole was an artist that was selected from our pre-qualified artist pool. We went through a process with the Japantown Art Committee that really helped inform the artwork goals, how we wanted to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish, but also developing the artwork itself was very much informed by how the community members wanted to see themselves reflected. So I'm pretty proud of the renderings and what the final mural will look like, because we're trying to reflect the community's vision, their own vision for Japantown through art. And I think art is a perfect vehicle for it.
Rinaldo Homero Gonzalez is a public art program manager for the Salt Lake City Arts Council. Midday continues in just a few minutes.
This Mother's Day, skip the flower bouquet that wilts by Wednesday and give Mom something she'll really love all season long. Living flowers are the perfect gift that keeps on giving. While cut flowers fade in just a few days, a beautiful hanging basket, stunning container garden, or a colorful set of flowers for her garden beds will bring her joy every single morning she steps outside. Now that's a gift worth giving. This is Brian with Olson's Greenhouse, and my family has been growing flowers with love and care for over 80 years. Right now, we're loading up your local garden center with tons of flowers, just in time for Mother's Day. Gorgeous hanging baskets, bold container plantings, and everything Mom needs to create the yard she's been dreaming of. Give Mom the gift of living color this Mother's Day, because she deserves blooms that last. Follow us on Instagram for ideas and inspiration, and find your local garden center that carries plants from Olson's at ogg.com. That's ogg.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens.
While the weather's mild, it's a perfect time to get your air conditioner ready for summer. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time you're outside, take a look at your air conditioner. There's a few things you can do to avoid common breakdowns that happen at the beginning of the season. If you covered it for the winter, uncover it. If the bushes and shrubs are growing around it, make sure you trim them back about 18 to 24 inches. If the coils are dirty, rinse them off with your garden hose. Then go inside and make sure you have a clean filter. If you do all that and find yourself with an air conditioner that isn't working, consider calling Any Hour Services. We have an air conditioner troubleshooting special for any homeowners listening. For only $29, we'll send a certified HVAC technician to your home to troubleshoot why your air conditioner isn't working. Then they'll give you a summary of their findings and present you options to repair it. To find out why your air conditioner isn't working for only $29, call Any Hour Services today at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
A new podcast from KSL Podcasts opens up conversations with coaches by discussing the books that impacted them the most. It's called the Coaches Book Club, and there are several episodes out now. Most recently, host and executive producer Amy Donaldson sat down with Real Salt Lake coach Pablo Mastroeni's journey with loss, anxiety, and life-changing book that helped him find healing in both professional and personal settings. So Amy joins me now live in studio. Did I totally ruin his name?
No, actually, you're perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start
according to me.
Okay, let's start with Pablo's book choice. What was it and what's it about?
His book choice was The Untethered Soul. And I was actually researching my podcast that I released in 2023, Making of a Moment, which is when he sort of unceremoniously he was hired as an assistant coach, and 8 months later, he's coaching the team as the interim coach and leads the team to the Western Conference Finals. And in that year after that, I had a bunch of conversations, but our very first conversation was really wide-ranging, and I realized right away he was a different kind of coach. Like, most coaches are, they want to talk strategy or they want to talk about their players, but like they're not really open to talking about themselves. And the thing I've noticed in my 20 years of covering sports is once you get to know them and you kind of understand why they lead the way they do. I've always been fascinated by coaching in general. It to me is like parenting on steroids because you have to convince other people what you see in them, like what they're capable of, or ask them to sacrifice, or you have to get them to buy into something that maybe doesn't fit their view of the world or their goals for themselves. And he just was really open about his own struggles, and he got a concussion when he was in his early 30s. He's a 2-time World Cup. He played on the U.S. men's national team, led the Rapids to a championship in 2010. So he's, at one of the best in the business, right, in the MLS, and got a concussion and had some really severe anxiety, sought therapy, and it kind of went back to a childhood event that he had he knew that he had, we all know we've lived through things. You don't know how they wired you. You don't know how they shaped you, right? Until you sit down and kind of reflect on it and talk through it.
Right. So
and
I
it was
guess
in
we
that.
do have a clip from that conversation with Pablo about his younger brother dying of SIDS. So kind of set this up for us a bit.
Yeah, he's just explaining to us. He had just come from Argentina with his family, and they were living at his uncle's house. And he was out on the front stoop playing with a cousin, and when his parents came home from work.
And it was then where she was watching my younger brother, and he had died of SIDS. And so when my mom got home from work, she went to go get check on the baby, and he was blue. And I was outside and on the front stoop with my cousin, and we were reading this book. And I can still remember the cover of the book when I heard my mom and my dad, they both came home at the same time, the guttural screams coming from inside the house. And it was so crazy. And I remember the fire department coming over and the fireman giving me a stick of spearmint gum that was just so brittle, it'd break apart. And he said to me, don't worry, once you put it in your mouth, it's going to be like normal chewing gum. And I remember these crazy moments of that experience. But I didn't realize the traumatic effect it'd have on my overall psyche and how I would perceive the world.
Pretty emotional stuff there that he's sharing with you. His vulnerability is really amazing. So how did the book help him get through this?
Yeah, the amazing thing about that book, so he's telling me that story, and we're talking about, how just understanding what that had done to him. Created this anxiety in him. I grew up, I'm also an anxious person, so I was super interested.
I can relate.
So we go off on this, and I said, didn't everybody call their friends and family before they'd get on an airplane? Make sure you have a will and all that stuff. But yeah, when people would talk about being carefree, I was like, when was I carefree? I don't remember. But he said that someone recommended this book to him, The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and we talked about it, and it's really a book about my favorite chapter in the book is actually about death and the perspective it gives you on life. And that sometimes, you've probably interviewed people in your career that there's something about either the beginning of life or end of life or these pivotal moments that it sort of brings it into sharp focus. And that what I loved about the book was it's really about the ways in which we make it harder to really taste the good stuff, to see the beauty. Just like one example, you don't want to deal with pain. You get a sliver in your hand, and instead of pulling the sliver out, which is a small inconvenience, right? But maybe you're afraid of needles or whatever, you wrap it up. And then it becomes more sore because it's infected. So then you got to wrap up your whole arm. And then you go to all these great lengths to avoid the thing that's causing you pain. And eventually you're living your life completely differently. And if you would just address the problem, if you had just addressed the pain, if you just felt it, or you just, gone in, it would have been a momentary experience, but you've made it now this life-altering situation. And I think one of the great gifts of the book is that you are not your emotions. You are not your thoughts. They are information for you, but they're not the defining thing. And I didn't read the book until like a year and a half later when I was going through some things. And my husband was actually listening to this conversation while I'm making my other podcast. And he said, who is this? I would listen to this guy for hours. And so I just started thinking about all the amazing conversations I've had with other coaches. And I thought, I wonder if we could do a book club. Like, I've learned so much from coaches about parenting and life and leadership. I thought it would be an amazing thing to bring to podcasting.
So I'm really glad that you're here to talk about this, because when I hear Coaches Book Club, that's not exactly what I would think I was getting from the conversation. Before we run out of time, though, I want to know, what other coaches and interviews do you have coming up?
Well, we have Jason Kreis. We have Jimmy Coonrates, the Utah Royals coach, is next week, but Jason will be later this month. And then in June, we're going to have Morgan Scally, the new University of Utah head coach. And his book is not one that I wanted to read. And I'm going to say I probably needed it.
Okay. KSLpodcast.com, right?
Yeah, you can find it on KSL Sports YouTube as well.
Okay. Thank you, Amy, for being with me. That is Amy Donaldson, the executive producer at KSL Podcasts. And you can find the Coaches Book Club at KSLpodcast.com. And as Amy mentioned, wherever pretty much you get your podcasts. In honor of the United States' 250th birthday, history buffs around the country are searching for 50 replica Liberty Bells, including here in Utah. Details on that coming up next, but first it's traffic on KSL News Radio. It's brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
We actually have a little bit of busy traffic southbound I-15 approaching 7200 south in Midvale, and a crash blocking right lanes downtown. This is at 4th South and 1300 East. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And you know, summer is coming, and that means you probably want to take off those few extra pounds before the weather gets warm. You have to put on the shorts or the swimsuit. And I want to tell you about Salt Lake City Fat Loss, because I've had every excuse in the world not to take off extra pounds. One of mine was I just don't have time. I can't exercise for an hour a day. And I want to tell you, with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, you don't need to exercise for an hour a day. My other excuse is I've taken this weight off before, and it just keeps coming back. And at SLC Fat Loss, they actually work to make sure that that doesn't happen. They have great resources available for you. This is a doctor-developed program, 60 days. It's all natural, no injections or medications. You eat just regular food that you buy from the grocery store. It also costs a lot less than other programs because you don't have to pay for things like breakfast bars or meals or even for a nutritionist. My husband even lost weight with me while I was eating this great food. And their great app keeps you accountable and gives you the resources you need to keep that weight off. I've lost more than 40 pounds. Many of their clients lose up to a pound per day. Find out more at slcfatloss.com, slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Join KSL News Radio and the Movie Show this Friday from 10 to 1 at the Layton NPS store at 1150 North Main Street in Layton, npsstore.com.
What if the road could charge your car?
As the vehicle drives by, it quickly gets a zap, and that can help propel the vehicle to keep going.
Electrified streets seem like science fiction.
Roadways in the future could become something much, much more than just asphalt that we drive on.
But the technology is already being laid beneath our feet.
You don't really necessarily see it happening until it's happened.
KSL explores Utah's powered pavement tonight at 10.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org. The energy, the roar, moments you'll always remember. Next season, Jaren Jackson Jr. is hunting blocks. Laurie Markkinen is getting buckets. And Ace is just getting started. Don't just watch Jazz basketball. Experience every moment. 2026-27 season tickets are on sale now. Full and half-season packages available. Plus exclusive benefits like arena discounts and player events. Are you in? Join the climb today. UtahJazz.com or call 801-355-DUNK.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
I think my biggest challenge was getting through to him to understand that love is real and you have goals in mind, you have things that want to happen, and I want to help you get there.
Sometimes people tend to shy away from wanting to adopt teenagers because they feel like they've lost so much, but there's still so much to gain.
Just knowing that there's just that
other person that cares and loves me out there. It feels great. And they've done so much for me, and I can only be appreciative every single day for just having them in my life.
I think it's been the best decision because I gained a son, and he's the best son ever. If I was down and out, he'd be there.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Liberty Bells will ring across the country this summer in celebration of the country's 250th birthday. Even though you may not be able to see the original bell in Philadelphia, did you know that you can see a replica in each state? The Associated Press takes a look at a small group of bell hunters who have made it their goal to see all of them.
14-year-old Zoe Murphy loves the Liberty Bell. I mean, really loves it.
This was Alaska, this was Arkansas, California, Colorado.
We're not talking about the real Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, the one with the crack, though she's seen that one too. These are faithful replicas given to each of the states back in 1950. And the New Jersey high schooler is one of a growing number of self-styled bell hunters on a quest to visit and ring as many as possible. If the group has an honorary ringleader, it's Tom Campbell.
I'm a Philadelphian born and raised. I moved to Colorado about 30 years ago. I was living in Denver, wandering around and stumbled on the one outside of the Capitol there. About 15 years ago, my wife built a website. She named it tomloveslibertybell.com. And this is the magic of the internet, is that I became the de facto expert on Liberty Bell replicas.
As a gimmick to sell savings bonds, the U.S. Treasury ordered 57 bells from a French foundry and sent them out on the road. After a successful bond drive, Treasury gifted the bells to the states. Some found homes inside state capitals and museums. But for those left outside, time and the elements have taken their toll. Zoe was 5 and already obsessed with state capitals when she learned about the replicas. Her first was in Allentown, Pennsylvania, in a church that once hid the original bell from the Redcoats.
So far, I've been to 39 Liberty Bells. I've been to 41 states, but unfortunately, some of them are under construction. So
I'm at 40, so at 53 years old, I've got her beat by one.
So what's next for the young bell hunter?
I've never been to Hawaii's bell.
Mom says maybe as a graduation present.
Vermont, Virginia, this was the one right outside of the firehouse. Washington, West Virginia, Wyoming.
The Treasury Department commissioned copies of the famously broken bell in 1950, one for each U.S. state and several territories. Here in Utah, you can find our special Liberty Bell replica up at the state capitol on the first floor. Right now, though, it's behind some caution tape as construction continues on that floor of the Capitol. Coming up in the next hour of Midday, we'll take a closer look at Utah's apprenticeship programs and how it's helping bridge a training gap among the state's young people. I hope you'll stay with us for more on that.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Community opposition against a proposed massive data center in Box Elder County continues to grow today. And now Governor Cox is speaking about the plan, saying he supports the development. In a news conference today, he slammed those who oppose proposals like this.
We've let the people against virtually everything destroy our country, destroy our industrial base, destroy our mining base, destroy our housing base, because we can't build anything in this country anymore. And those days are over.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, April 30th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, we'll hear more from the governor on why he supports this 40,000-acre development. We'll also hear from scientists who say the center will be bad for the environment. Also this hour, President Trump signing an executive order today establishing Trump IRA accounts. At 2:35, we'll chat with a financial planner to learn more about these programs. But first, our top stories. We are learning ICE has detained a man just 2 days before he was set to receive his diploma from University of Utah. KSL News Radio's Adam Small spoke to the man's soon-to-be fiancée.
Brittany Hiquez met Lisandro Pantaleon Pacheco at the U, and they've been dating for the last 2 years. She says his goal is to one day become a doctor.
He had a great passion for helping the underserved.
After learning Pacheco was taken into ICE custody yesterday, Hiquez says she learned he planned to propose to her not long after he received his diploma. Pacheco has one traffic citation but no criminal record otherwise. Plus, he'd be eligible to apply for a green card after he and Hiquez get married.
We can't understand it. You know, my family, my friends, the community in Park City were just truly at a loss of words.
Pacheco's attorney tells me if all goes well, he thinks he can get him out of ICE custody in Wyoming and back to Utah within a month. Hiquez says in the meantime, she and the rest of the family are just trying to keep their spirits up.
We just want him home.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
We have reached out to ICE for comment, but have not heard back. Our top national story from ABC News. After 76 days, the Homeland Security shutdown is almost over. It passed in the House and now heads to President Trump's desk. Here's House Speaker Mike Johnson.
We got the budget resolution passed. This is very, very important because that will ensure that border security and immigration enforcement will continue today and well into the future, despite Democrat attempts to reopen our borders and protect criminal illegal aliens from removal.
The bill funds all aspects of DHS except for immigration enforcement, which will now be dealt with through the reconciliation process. Other national stories KSL is following. Gas prices soaring again. This as peace talks remain stalled, and President Trump said that the U.S. blockade in the Strait could last for months. More from ABC's Elizabeth Schulze on the stalemate in the Strait and how long it may take for traffic to flow normally again.
At this point, we are talking months, if not more than a year. I mean, most analysts who I've been talking to say that it is very unlikely we see gas get back to the level it was before the war, below $3, within the next year because of where these oil prices are and the fact that there's an understanding in the market now that the supply backlog is so severe. Even if the Strait of Hormuz reopened tomorrow, which it doesn't look like that's happening at this point, it would take months to get that oil moving again.
In Utah, you'll pay about $4.36 a gallon at the pump. Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow was up by 790 points. That's more than 1.5%, sitting at 49,652. S&P up by 73. That's a full percent. And the NASDAQ up by 219 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.24% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
A multiple vehicle crash with debris northbound I-15 just after 3300 South. Most of the vehicles are over to the right, but one vehicle and the debris, it's like fenders and bumpers, big pieces in the roads, blocking a center lane, backing traffic into Murray. This Mother's Day, treat Mom to something unforgettable at the Roof. With their brand new spring into summer brunch menu she'll love. Celebrate Mom in style above the heart of Salt Lake City. TheRoofSLC.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
20% chance of a lingering shower across the Wasatch Front today. Today's high 64, 67 tomorrow for a high, and dry for Saturday. A slight chance of showers returning on Sunday. Right now, 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress,
everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Pushback from the community members on a proposed massive data center in Box Elder County continues to grow today as the County Commission waits for public hearings before making their decision official. Governor Spencer Cox is now sharing his thoughts on the plan, saying these kinds of data centers are important for our economy and our national security.
We've had data centers in this state for a long time. I've been pretty neutral on data centers. I think they're important, but they're not the number one source of economic development for our state by any means, and shouldn't be. Look, we're living through a very interesting time right now. There was an article I read yesterday that said that this is very similar to kind of the nuclear arms race, the nuclear era, 60, 70, 80 years ago. Very different than anything that we've experienced in the past several decades. And there is a national security piece to this that has to be acknowledged. The rate at which machine learning and artificial intelligence is changing, the dangers that poses, and what happens if an adversarial nation gets ahead of us in this space is something that we should all be worried about. And so we have an obligation. I think every state has an obligation when it comes to this space to allow for these types of data centers to be built in their states. We have to do this. We can't just say no and shut the doors and go home and let China win this technology race. So that just can't be an option.
In his monthly press conference this morning, he said the proposed location is a good one, saying there was a lot of misinformation out there about the amount of water this center would use.
We have to do this smart. We have to do it in the right places and in the right way. We should not have data centers everywhere, and we should be very careful with our resources. And so those are the conversations that have been had. Unfortunately, there's a lot of really bad information out there about data centers. People are operating off of models and technologies that have changed drastically over the past few years, especially when it comes to water usage. That's one where the numbers are just wrong. There was also a report about warming around data centers that was also deeply flawed, and immediately found out that it's deeply flawed. But everybody just believes it now that data centers use all the water and destroy everything around them, and that's just not true. And so we're going to have these in our country, and we're going to have some of these in our state. And so the question is, again, where do we put them, and how do we do this in the best way? This is a location where they have water available. It's not taking additional water away from the Great Salt Lake. It's taking water that would be used for other things and using it for a different purpose now. And we have air quality standards that we have to abide by, that they have to abide by. And here's where Utah is really shining. We did something different than other states, and that is we said we're not going to allow these data centers to take all of our power, which will significantly increase the power consumption and the power rates for the people of our state. We're not going to allow that to happen. Again, this is the bad information that keeps getting put out there. So these companies, if and when they decide to build, they're going to have to build their own power supplies. And ultimately, that's good for our state because they're going to put power back on the grid, which will help us keep our power rates lower than anywhere else in the country. And so, look, I understand the concern that people have. I have concerns about where we're putting these and when we're putting these. But this is one where we've had conversations recently. Again, this is going through MIDA, so it's a quasi state entity, but I don't have control over that entity. I think I appoint one person to that entity, and so we want to we want to make sure that they're doing it the right way, and this is one that I think is going to help our country long term, and that's something that we all have to be a part of.
The governor also saying that people who have been against all these kinds of development projects are destroying what makes America great.
We've let the people against virtually everything destroy our country, destroy our industrial base, destroy our mining base, destroy our housing base, because we can't build anything in this country anymore. And those days are over. We're done with that. We take feedback. We understand what people want. We say no to many things because there is good feedback, but we can't say no to everything.
Governor Spencer Cox speaking about a proposed data center in Box Elder County. Scientists are also chiming in with their opposition to the 40,000-acre center, saying it could create a kind of urban heat dome or heat island. County Commission is set to discuss the proposal and take public comment next week. KSL's Mike Anderson has more on what researchers are saying about the center's potential environmental impact.
There's a number of scientists that are and citizens as well that are concerned that, that would like a number of questions answered about Project Shilaos before the Box Elder County Commission makes a decision on it. And there are worries about what the massive data center could bring with it.
You can't bring something spanning 40,000 acres out here without seeing some changes.
That is a large area.
And Dr. Wei Zhang, a professor of climate science, says along with the buildings, the production of energy from gas, the heat.
Something called urban heat island effect, or in urban climate field we call urban dome. So those heat by itself can cause some local circulation.
The same way cities do. The center could increase the surrounding temperature by a few degrees.
It's fair to see that those data centers can create its own local circulation.
Meaning wind, possible storms, but how much of an impact, whether it could affect things like snowfall and whether the heat gets blown into other areas, is all a very open question that he says deserves some research. But along with bringing the heat.
Generating 9 gigawatts of power with natural gas will raise Utah's current total greenhouse gas production by about 50%.
Pollution, especially at maximum proposed scale, is a big concern to some of these professors when you consider how electricity is typically produced from natural gas.
Every car, truck, bus, motorcycle, all of those emissions combined, this plant will be putting out more than that.
All reasons why they say the project shouldn't be rushed, why they're asking local leaders to pump the brakes and take a closer look.
And Zhang adds that there are ways to manage that heat island effect by adding green spaces and trees. But, Box Elder County commissioners in the meantime are set to meet and make a decision on this this coming Monday at the Box Elder County Fairgrounds.
KSL's Mike Anderson reporting from Brigham City. You can learn more about this project and the response to it by going to ksltv.com. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
We finally realized something.
We wanted more time for family, faith, and service.
And less time giving every Saturday to the house.
At Ovation Homes, active adults 55 plus can enjoy beautifully designed, low-maintenance homes in a welcoming community built for this season of life.
More peace, less upkeep.
And more time for what matters most.
Learn more about Ovation Homes' newest communities in West Point, Syracuse, and Layton. Visit ovationhomes.com. That's ovationhomes.com. Your best years start at Ovation Homes.
Let's be responsible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That counts.
Safe, secure, and built for comfort. With locations in Syracuse, West Point, and Layton. Downsize without compromise. With a home that truly fits your lifestyle. To learn more and see all the amenities, visit ovationhomesutah.com. That's ovationhomesutah.com. Your best years start at Ovation Homes.
We are getting a better look today at the widespread effects from the Supreme Court's ruling yesterday on congressional districts in Louisiana. It comes as the governor in that state, Jeff Landry, announces plans to delay primary elections there so the legislature can redraw the state's congressional map.
This whole race baiting race issue on the redistricting has been put to bed finally once and for all.
The NAACP says Wednesday's Supreme Court decision to strike down a majority black congressional district in Louisiana is a devastating blow to what remains of the Voting Rights Act. They also said it now provides a license for corrupt politicians who want to rig the system by silencing entire communities. The implications of the ruling look to be more far-reaching than just in Louisiana, though. ABC's Steve Osunsami breaks down the impact.
This is seen by many civil rights activists and many black Americans in the South as just this slide.
It's a day of loss for black voters in Louisiana who have counted on fair maps.
Elected officials at the local level and at the state level will disappear.
This continuing slide where we are going to continue to remove protections and subtly make it more and more difficult for black folks to vote or for their votes to matter. And that you add to that what's happening in Washington.
If you tell me that I gotta jump a certain height, I could probably do that. Tell me I gotta run a certain district, I could probably do that too. But if you tell me I have to be white to serve in Congress from Louisiana, I can't do nothing about that. I need some help from my government.
We've heard from the Congressional Black Caucus. We've heard from Al Sharpton. We've heard from Ben Crump. We've heard from the NAACP, who essentially said that our democracy is dying for help. And it stands in striking contrast to what we're hearing from the White House, which is calling this a complete and total victory for American voters. But what has happened with this decision, this isn't just a one-off. This is a continual hammer that the U.S. Supreme Court has taken to the Voting Rights Act that has weakened it and stripped it of the teeth that the law had that was intended when the likes of Martin Luther King were convincing America that our American democracy was not as fair as many people believed.
He says the maps won't be able to change in all states right now since voting is already underway in places like Georgia.
So we already are voting right now. Early voting has already happened for, a race that happens in May, and by November, and the legislature isn't in a position where it could make those kind of changes. But next year, it's on. We're watching right now state after state play games with the congressional lines, right? We're seeing it. You can draw a district to look any which way you want and achieve whatever goal you want. We're seeing that happen, right? We're seeing that happen on the left and on the right. What we're talking about here isn't blue or red. It's racial.
The Trump administration has hailed the High Court's decision, calling it a complete and total victory for American voters. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson said in a statement that the color of one's skin should not dictate which congressional district you belong in. The state of Utah highlighting the importance of apprenticeships this week. After the break, we'll find out more about the impact these training programs have on the state as a whole. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. We do have an emergency traffic situation. Traffic is brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky, what's going on?
It's a crash with debris. Now, this is in South Salt Lake, northbound I-15, right after 3300 South. 3 to 4 vehicles involved. They're blocking a right lane. They have been able to get those big pieces of debris out of the center and right lanes of traffic. However, with a right lane still blocked, we have heavy delays into Murray at 4500 South. With nutrients blended for greener, healthier turf in our local soil, IFA's 4+ Lawn Care program is the ultimate lawn owner power move. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto-pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
Attention, RV owners or RV wannabe owners. It's the used RV blowout sale. RVs from all over the Intermountain West have been sent to the Layton Hills Mall for this RV liquidation event. Repos, buybacks, rental returns, and trade-ins. Blowout pricing. Every RV has been inspected and serviced and ready to go. Free admission, free parking. Dealers welcome. It's the used RV blowout sale. This Wednesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to dusk. Go to UtahRVEvent.com. Sponsored by Paris RV. Paris RV is your locally owned, family-run RV dealership. We strive hard to find the very best RVs for the price. With 4 locations, over 1,000 RVs in stock, 42 service bays, and 4 super parts stores. We're sure to help take your family on the best RV vacation. Check out our perfect family bunkhouse trailer, the 26BH. That sleeps 9 for $19,995 or $227 a month. Zero down. Life is short. Enjoy it. North Murray, South Murray, Payson, and Pocatello. ParisRV.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos.
War in Iran.
Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth back on Capitol Hill today, testifying before the Senate Armed Services Committee. The secretary was asked about the use of artificial intelligence in the war in Iran. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more from Capitol Hill.
Pete Hegseth saying that in his testimony under oath that there is no targeting decision being made by artificial intelligence without a human in the loop, as he said. He didn't elaborate on exactly how those targeting decisions come to pass, but he was asked by rounds because there was pointed questioning from Kirsten Gillibrand, Democratic Senator of New York, of how the Pentagon is avoiding civilian casualties and how they are using, as has been widely reported, artificial intelligence to identify targets that they're striking and carry out these strikes.
Hegseth also continues to defend military action in Iran, saying the military tried to move personnel out of harm's way before the war began.
I think what people mostly don't know is that a massive effort was undertaken before this conflict to move as many humans off of targets to other places and maintain operational security about where they might be to minimize the space with which Iran could hit. We always knew something getting through was a tragic possibility.
13 U.S. service members have died. More than 360 have been hurt. The growth of apprenticeship programs being highlighted on this National Apprenticeship Week in Utah. There are currently more than 5,300 apprentices in our state, with more than 1,800 new apprentices over the past year. Utah's Commissioner of Apprenticeships, Abby Lindquist, joins me to talk about that growth. And Abby, begin by telling us the importance of apprenticeships.
Apprenticeship is one of the many pathways that lead to a successful career. So apprentices receive hands-on training combined with related instruction. And so this pathway that aligns with industry is really important to ensure that we're matching industry-specific skills with the ability to earn, moreover in your career through apprenticeship. And so we've seen a really big growth in apprenticeship and employers using the program in order to develop their workforce in alignment, make sure that, apprenticeship can be that tool for the job seeker and the employer.
Yeah, for many of us, when we think of an apprenticeship, we think of something that kind of went by the wayside in the past. So maybe you could tell us how many people are actually involved in apprenticeships in Utah.
Sure. So there are over 300 programs that are registered in the state of Utah, and currently around 5,300 apprentices and more than 1,800 new apprentices in the last year. So we've seen those numbers grow with the work that we're doing to ensure that the programs are aligning really well to develop workforce needs.
What makes an apprenticeship different from other types of training?
Sure. So apprenticeship is really unique in that apprentices are paired with a mentor from day one to create that foundation of success. So through that learning on the job paired with related instruction, they're able to see and gain those industry-specific skills that they're going to use every day.
What areas do you see the most types of programs for apprentices exist in?
Traditionally, apprenticeships are in construction and manufacturing, but we're continuing to see an increase in other industries being added, like automotive, transportation, and utilities. And there's even a registered apprenticeship program for teachers, where we're building programs with the local education agencies to ensure we have more educators in Utah. And so the growth has been tremendous. And even in the past year, we've seen four new occupations added to Utah. People typically think construction, manufacturing, but we're starting to see more industries come and utilize registered apprenticeship. So healthcare and IT, as well as we're seeing AI apprenticeships as well. There's apprenticeships in automotive, transportation, utilities. And so we're seeing a shift in industry to start utilizing this more direct form of training where apprentices are hired from day one.
Yeah, talk about this trend and why you think this has become more important over the past few years.
I think offering more pathways and making career pathways more accessible has been a really big push to ensure that we're offering opportunities to everyone. And so being able to align with industry and their needs to ensure that it's a clear way to jump in an industry and they can start and be hired from day one is a really important transition and piece that we can offer. Apprenticeship is typically for anyone, but we're starting to see apprenticeship being used in at the youth age, and it's great for if people want to change a career or industry that they want to be in. And so the accessibility has been huge for the growth.
How do people find out more if they want to be involved in an apprenticeship?
Absolutely. If you'd like to learn more about registered apprenticeship, feel free to visit our website, apprenticeship.utah.gov, to learn more. If you're an employer looking for a program, to create a program, or a job seeker, if you're a school counselor, educator, or parent, feel free to visit our website, or you can visit one of our 30 employment centers statewide and meet with an employment counselor.
Anything important that we should add about apprenticeships that I maybe haven't asked you about?
Since being in this field and working in apprenticeship, I've seen how this direct pathway can really support someone's career growth. And in Utah, with the number of programs growing and Utah's wages being higher than states who have more apprentices, I think that we are creating momentum to change the future of workforce development and career pathways for our communities.
Abby Lindquist is Commissioner of Apprenticeships in Utah. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. President Trump signing an executive order today that expands retirement account access for workers, and how will it work? We'll break it down with a financial planner. The Utah Department of Public Safety asking for all drivers to help make our roads and our highway safety for motorcyclists this summer. And KSL traffic, Ricky, we have an emergency traffic situation?
We do. It's northbound I-15 in South Salt Lake. Maria?
And the forecast is calling for just a slight chance of showers today. And then our next chance of showers, our next best chance of showers coming early next week. Monday and Tuesday of next week, looks like we have about a 40% chance of showers. 61 downtown, it's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The partial government shutdown ending after 76 days. House Republicans passing a measure to restore funding. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
The House, which has been sitting on this bill that the Senate passed some time ago that funds every single agency inside the Department of Homeland Security, including the TSA, just not immigration enforcement operations. It's been sitting on that legislation because there was a concern among some hardline Republicans that there needed to be some other legislative vehicle to fund ICE and immigration enforcement. And so we've really been waiting days, if not weeks, to see what Speaker Johnson would do here.
Polymarket announced it's picked a blockchain data company to continually monitor for suspicious trades. It comes a week after prosecutors brought the first criminal case of insider trading on a prediction market. Britain's King Charles and Queen Camilla departing the U.S. today after their 4-day visit. Earlier today, the king laying a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. The Lieutenant Governor has released an official determination that the effort to repeal Prop 4 was insufficient. The determination says a number of required signatures was met, but they were only in 24 of the necessary 29 Senate districts. That means the petition to get rid of the new congressional districts will not be on the ballot this year. Other local stories KSL is following. The proposed data center has Box Elder County residents worried about the impacts. But Governor Cox says we have to be willing to have them in our state. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has the story.
Utahns are worried about how much water the center would use and other possible environmental impacts. But Governor Spencer Cox says there's a lot of misinformation out there and found this data center won't use water that we need for the Great Salt Lake. It will also have to follow strict air quality and power guidelines. But residents still worry that the project is being rushed. To that, Cox says we can't afford not to rush.
In the governor's monthly news conference today, Governor Cox says that we are in a technology race with other countries and we can't afford to spend years making decisions like this. Motorcycle season is just beginning, but highway officials say we've already seen several deadly crashes this year. It comes after a record number of motorcycle deaths last year. KSL News Radio's Tammy Kikuchi reports on how officials hope to stop that trend.
72 riders lost their lives last year on Utah's highways, a big jump from the total of 53 the year before.
Already in 2026, we've already lost 8 motorcycle riders here in Utah.
Jason Metman with the Utah Highway Safety Office says 90% of the fatalities did not get additional training after obtaining their motorcycle license. That training teaches riders handling and defensive driving skills. Metman says that following too close or drifting out of their lanes led to the majority of deadly accidents. They also want drivers to look twice and start scanning the road for motorcycles. Tammy Kikuchi, KSL News Radio.
The history of Salt Lake City's Japantown will be highlighted in a new mural. It will go up on the side of the 15-story multi-ethnic senior high-rise at 120 South and 2nd West. Artist Cole Eisenhower will be the artist to do the honors. The preliminary design features elements of the historic neighborhood through a Japanese art form of repairing broken pottery with gold. It will be painted this summer. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by 790 points at the close, ending at 49,652. S&P up by 73. The NASDAQ up by 219 points. Traffic and weather is brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big. UCCU. Love where you bank. Ricky, tell us about this emergency traffic situation.
We still have a right lane block due to a crash on northbound I-15 just as you're passing 3300 South. All the vehicles, including the emergency crews, are over to the right, and the debris has been cleared from the road. However, we have heavy delays back to 4500 South in Murray. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
And the forecast calls for a very slight chance of showers for the rest of the day. Tomorrow and Saturday, dry, with the highs reaching 78 degrees by Sunday. Right now, 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up.
Since 1947, Whipple Service Champions has been Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services. Got a high-priced repair bill from another company and you're just not sure about it? Call Whipple. Get a free, no-pressure estimate or bring us their quote for an honest second opinion. Totally free. Whipple Service Champions, Utah's first place for second opinions since 1947. Call 385-273-7167 for your free estimate today. 385-273-7167.
You were listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. President Trump signing an executive order this afternoon that will expand retirement savings accounts to those Americans who don't get retirement accounts from private insurers and employers. The order directing the Treasury Department to create a new website where the government will match up to $1,000 for Americans making $35,000 or less per year. Here's the president making the announcement in the Oval Office.
I'm thrilled to sign a historic executive order expanding access to high-quality retirement savings accounts for millions of Americans. In my State of the Union earlier this year, I promised to make the same types of retirement accounts enjoyed by the federal employees available to all Americans. So that's what we're doing.
The order is an extension of legislation passed in 2022 called Savers Match. Let's talk more about these kinds of retirement accounts and what it might mean for you. Joining me live on Midday is Shane Stewart, Certified Financial Planner at DMBA. Shane, thanks for being with me.
Glad to. Thanks.
So first of all, Shane, talk about the need for this. I mean, how many people in Utah would actually be impacted by something like this?
Yeah, there could be, hundreds of thousands of folks available or qualifying for this. It's something that it never hurts to save or invest. It's always good for the economy. It's good for the individual. So in that respect, it's very much a positive.
So let's talk about what an IRA is in comparison to a 401k. What's the difference?
Yeah, the key difference in an IRA is the letter I, individual, where an individual retirement account is an IRA, and the letter I stands for individual. It means it's simply yours, not through a company. 401ks, that tax code was set up for saving through your employer, whereas an IRA is on your own. These IRA accounts are set up for these individuals, these children, to help them in the future. The interesting thing about an IRA, you and I have an IRA. We have to wait till they're over the age of 59 and a half to get to it, whereas these child accounts, they can get to it as early as age 18 once they turn 18.
Okay, so we heard that the president has asked for a website to be set up. Kind of describe how this is going to work. How does this program work?
Yeah, so they a few days ago they announced they've contracted with Mellon Bank for investments, Robinhood, the app Robinhood, to do an app that will help people track it. I've noticed they've started a website that's very informative, helping understand the ins and outs of that. So it is impressive how quickly they've moved on this to get this up and running. Of course, there are still questions to be answered, but it's something that families could take advantage of if they qualify.
Yeah, choosing something like Robinhood, does that really point to the fact that they're looking to help younger people?
Absolutely. I think they're looking ahead to who may be using this, and not only families but younger folks as they get a little older, they'll be interested. That is one advantage of this, not just the money, but helping young people understand what it means to invest, what it means to save. They even have the opportunity to put their own money into these if they'd like, and parents could do the same. And if used correctly by a parent, this could be a great tool in helping them understand how to manage money.
Yeah, I know it's pretty hard to quantify something like this, how much of a difference it can make. But as you said at the beginning, every little bit helps, right?
Absolutely. Anything, not only in money and dollars, but also in sentiment and education.
Yeah. Is this the first time we've seen something like this on the federal level?
There have been similar things in the past. There have been other things. This is the first time I've ever seen something this aggressive, meaning broadly sending the money out. Many times we see this in stimulus packages where the money gets sent to the family through tax credits when they do their taxes or those kinds of things. This is actually signing up and having an account funded for you. This is a little different than we normally see.
And it's not exactly everyone that can benefit from this.
Right. There are some qualifications. I mean, for the first part, it's actually children born between 2025 and 2028. The Dell family, Michael and Susan Dell of Dell Computers, have also expanded that with a personal donation for smaller amounts, of course, but for those who are age 11 to 0 right now. And so there are some things out there, but then there are also a few things as far as family qualifications, but those have been expanded to where just about everyone who wants to could get one if they fall within those ages.
So the income qualification, though, is another one that is interesting to me. That's very low income, right? It's got to impact a lot of people.
Yeah, that is. It hopefully it doesn't impact too many people because hopefully there aren't that many. But there are some folks that are in that situation, and that's actually extremely helpful to those that are below the poverty level to learn to invest, to learn to save, because typically you don't have that kind of money or any money for that matter to save and invest.
Okay, so am I correct in assuming it's not just $1,000 once; it's $1,000 a year? Or am I wrong about that?
Well, my understanding is it's $1,000 to begin, and then the other contributions can be made by individuals. Another interesting fact that they've allowed is employers can match or contribute to these accounts on behalf of their employees' children. So they could add to it that way, but the coming from the government would be that initial $1,000, and then individuals and or companies are on their own to continue to contribute.
All right, Shane, thanks so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
That is Shane Stewart, Certified Financial Planner at DMBA. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
As motorcycle season gets underway, safety is a top focus for law enforcement officials. It comes after a record number of deadly motorcycle crashes last year. KSL TV's Tyrese Boone has more on the efforts to end this deadly trend.
This event is a sobering reminder of just how dangerous Utah roads have been in the past year, and officials say those deaths could have been prevented, and they're hoping to change that this season.
DPS says more than 75% of riders killed in 2025 did not have a motorcycle endorsement, and only about 10% had completed any formal safety training. 72 motorcyclists were killed on Utah roads last year, the highest total ever recorded. At today's event, 80 helmets were lined along the track, representing motorcycle deaths from last year through April.
Last year we lost 72 motorcycles on our Utah roads. This is the highest that we've ever seen, not even close, and something that we do not want to continue with.
Officials say many of these crashes come down to preventable behaviors like speeding and drivers failing to yield.
Our drivers that are impacting these motorcyclists are failing to yield the right of way, failure to stay in the proper lane, and unsafe speeds.
They're also urging drivers to look twice and give those motorcyclists extra space. Reporting from Taylorsville, Tyrese Boone, KSL 5 News.
You can get more information and learn ways to keep motorcyclists safe by going to ridetolive.utah.gov. Have you felt frustrated with your political party lately? If so, it turns out that you are not alone. New polling from the Deseret News suggests that there's a lot of dissatisfaction with the current political climate. In the poll, U.S. voters were asked if they felt well represented by their party, and oftentimes the answer was no. Deseret News reporter Brigham Tomko says that trend was even stronger in Utah.
We polled over 2,000 U.S. voters from around the country and then over 800 voters just here in Utah. And we saw lots of consistency between those two different groups. But where Utah stood out is that a greater number of people felt that neither major political party represented them. And so we asked all these respondents whether they felt like they were well represented by the two major political parties, Democratic and Republican. And the answers ranged from very well, somewhat well, not well, or not at all. And so what we saw is that a majority of voters around the country felt like the two major political parties did not represent them well. And then that was even greater here in Utah, where it almost reached 6 out of 10 folks, 6 out of 10 people. And we also asked voters, whether this kind of dissatisfaction with the major political parties impacted their involvement with political parties. So we asked them whether they were involved in primary elections, donating to candidates, and if they weren't involved at all, which about 3 in 10 voters said they weren't involved in politics at all, we asked them why, and they gave their reasons for why they were politically disengaged.
Brigham says that 60% of Utah voters said they didn't feel well represented by either party, and 40% said they'd support the creation of a new major party. But he says that doesn't necessarily change how people vote.
Yeah, you see this clearly across lots of surveys where even those people who identify as political independents, they will almost always vote one party. And there's so many different factors that contribute to this. I think that political parties just have a very tribal or cultural strength to them in our psychology, where depending on how you were raised or where you live, you just are more affiliated with one party or the other. And so what I think that this poll does is it signals that people are dissatisfied with the national political environment and the way the parties are behaving. I think what these people would really want in an ideal world is for the parties to behave in a better way. And when I talk to some of these sources, some of these politically homeless individuals, one in Missouri, a couple here in Utah, they said that what they want actually is for the two parties to at least make a show of working together and working in a way that signals actual problem solving and not just partisan messaging. So I think they're trying to send a signal to the political parties to grow up.
You can read more about this poll by reading Brigham's story at Deseret.com. Residents in Mill Creek are on high alert after a mountain lion paid a visit to their neighborhood. Mike Soralian was awakened to pounding on his front door after the cat was spotted in his backyard. He says it was scary because he has 2 cats.
I checked I have 2 cats. That was my first thought. So one of my cats was in the room with me, thank God. And then the other cat, I was like, oh my, crap, jumped up. And then thank God the other cat was in the house. So then I walked outside and in the backyard. And it's funny because every single day I let my cats in and out, I look in that tree for a cougar. And I've lived here for, I think, 6 years. And because I've been told, oh, there's cougars in the neighborhood, they hide in the trees, yada, yada. And so, every day I'm looking for the cougar. I never see a cougar. And then finally there's one in the tree. And it's literally in the tree, just sleeping, looking pretty cute. and just chilling.
Once he was sure his cats were safe, Seralian says his second priority was to document the moment.
Obviously, I take a video and I'm, just in shock and awe. And then I walk outside and there's like 8 DNR officers outside my house. And so you can see the thing from the street too, by the way. So everyone's in the driveway and there's just like a pile of people and you can see it from the side. And so everyone's staring at this thing and the thing's just like yawning, looking all cute. Then it opens its mouth and starts breathing. And then you realize it's like a pretty wild, dangerous animal who probably, I would say it weighed at least 150 pounds, maybe more than that. It was big, like it was a big cat. And its tail was like 3-4 feet long, which is pretty crazy.
The Division of Wildlife Resources shot the cougar with rubber pellets, but it escaped into the neighborhood before they were able to track it. Now, Seralian now plans to put up an electric fence and keep a close eye on his cats in the future. An expanded space for creative Utahns to express themselves and create art without having to go places like New York City or L.A. More on that coming up after the break. But first, let's get a look at traffic. Traffic and weather brought to you by UCCU. Build smart, save big with construction loans at UCCU. Ricky?
We still have crews working to clear this crash in South Salt Lake, northbound to I-15 after 3300 south. That right lane is blocked and residual delays into Murray. Then in Weber County, a crash. It's in the intersection southbound 1900 west, 2100 south in West Haven. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
This Mother's Day, skip the flower bouquet that wilts by Wednesday and give Mom something she'll really love all season long. Living flowers are the perfect gift that keeps on giving. While cut flowers fade in just a few days, a beautiful hanging basket, stunning container garden, or a colorful set of flowers for her garden beds will bring her joy every single morning she steps outside. Now that's a gift worth giving. This is Brian with Olson's Greenhouse, and my family has been growing flowers with love and care for over 80 years. Right now, we're loading up your local garden center with tons of flowers, just in time for Mother's Day. Gorgeous hanging baskets, bold container plantings, and everything Mom needs to create the yard she's been dreaming of. Give Mom the gift of living color this Mother's Day, because she deserves blooms that last. Follow us on Instagram for ideas and inspiration, and find your local garden center that carries plants from Olson's at OGG.com. That's OGG.com for Olson's Greenhouse Gardens.
Looking for a little extra excitement this week? Head to KSL.com/win and enter our weekly contests for your chance to score some incredible prizes. This week, you could win a beautiful necklace from Duke's Jewelers, enjoy a $250 dining experience at the Roof Restaurant, or grab tickets to the Disney World's Collide Tour. It's quick, it's easy, and you could be our next big winner. Don't wait. Visit KSL.com/win and enter today.
Doug Wright here with Monty at Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer. Monty, give it to me straight. Why is Connecticut the premium choice over those standard electric softeners?
Doug, it comes down to this. Do you want an appliance you have to babysit? Standard water softeners have microprocessors and computers that need setting and adjustment, and they use a lot more salt. So you get to haul 40-pound bags of salt down to your basement every month or so.
And Connecticut?
Zero electricity, zero timers to reset, zero downtime, and uses 70% less salt. It's a higher standard of engineering that completely removes the hassle of owning a water softener.
That's what I love about my Connecticut. Dee and I never have to even think about it. We occasionally add a bag of salt and it just works, and I've never had to set or adjust anything. Do what I did and get the one that just works. Find out how soft your water could be at softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a gripping new 9-part investigative podcast about a serial killer you've probably never heard of, Warren Forrest, a sadistic predator who prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He hid behind the deeds of Ted Bundy, and he's only been convicted of 2 murders, but is suspected of many more. Since the release of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, a witness identified in the podcast could lead investigators to the remains of Jamie Grissom.
He ran into the woods. He said he stumbled. As he fell down, he looks up and sees the body of a young woman.
And now the FBI is testing forensic evidence that had been collecting dust for decades. This cold case is now red hot. Binge the entire season of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley right now, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the latest breaking news.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Utah creators will soon have a new space to innovate, a space that aims to compete with major studios in places like Los Angeles and New York City. It's being called the Creator Space, and it's being built in Lehi by creator Murphy Yang. He says after years of traveling to places like Atlanta and California just to film, he realized Utah was missing a key piece of the creative ecosystem.
The reason for the space was, as a videographer, photographer, content creator, I'm usually in LA or, Atlanta or New York or Miami, and I'm usually filming at studios, and I'm like, why don't we have that here? And that made a light bulb pop in my head, and I was like, you know what? Since Utah doesn't have it, why don't I make it? That was like a kind of an inspiration, but I've always had this idea of having, being a millennial, watching Rob Dyrdek and his Fantasy Factory and stuff like that. Like, I've always wanted a creative outlet, a creative studio, a place to just create where, with creativity, it's endless, it's boundless, there's nothing that can hold you back, and, creativity is infinite. And I've always been inspired by everything I've seen. I smell, I touch, I everything around me is just very inspirational and creative. Like, there's creative things. So that being said, like, I wanted a Fantasy Factory, but for not just creators, but for businesses, for brands, for personal brands. It's a space. It's like, this is my house, and I want to invite everyone to have fun and create in it.
Yang tells KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera the space includes a multi-set studio with everything from stage living spaces and kitchens for content shoots.
You have other sets that's like a 70s set, another vibe where it looks like a living room. So for brands, when they're like, hey, I want to film on a podcast, the cool thing about the podcast rooms too is it's very modular. We could change the scenery for each person and customize it to who they are or what brand it is. We try to think outside the box. And then to go on with the creator space is a space for creators. It's boundless. It's limitless. And it is selfishly me, but it's also like in the brain of a creator. It's like everywhere. Think of a multiverse. You walk in the building and we want you to feel a certain way when you walk in. And then when you open the door, you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many like layers into this. So multiverse of creation.
Yang has been sharing the build online and says feedback from other creators is already shaping what that space becomes. Thanks for being with me today. Jeff Kaplan is here for Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News.
Well, we have this homeless campus in Salt Lake City on the west side they're going to build that we've been hearing about for months and months and months. There are a lot of questions this afternoon. We have that story coming right up.
All right. Have a great afternoon. Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is next.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.